It's the Hoosier Sophisticate Show. Question all the things that you know. Steve likes the weed. Steve likes the weed. Tell you about DMT. The DMT. Hoosier Sophisticate Show. The Hoosier Sophisticate Show. Hoosiers with the dream, sophisticated blasphemy. It's the Hoosier Sophisticate Show. Question all the things that you know. So let's set our minds free for the singularity. It's the Hoosier Sophisticate Show. The Hoosier Sophisticate Show.
Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, non-binary, sentient, artificial intelligence.
Hit play on that other screen.
Happy birthday to us. Happy birthday to me, us, you.
Me.
Happy birthday to the Hoosiers. Happy birthday to you. Feliz cumpleaños, Hoosier Sophisticate. Muchas felicidades.
Oh, Mike, read us some of those messages right off the bat here because we got a new little message thing.
We got a new little message.
Yeah, go ahead and turn it on and see what happens. Tell us if we get an echo when Mike's talking.
Yeah, let us know how I sound, guys. So we got, let's see, I need to turn this a little bit.
No, you do not.
I do. So we got Tiffany Jones. We love you guys. Thanks for what you do. Thanks for the laugh. Zach Smith. Hey, everybody. Glad I was able to catch this episode. Christopher Rachel Crawford. Happy birthday to Hoosier Sophisticate and Chris and Maddie Wolfenbarger. Okay. Jenny, hi friends, happy second birthday, Hoosier Sophisticate. Jennifer Barra, hello friends. I missed the last one.
We're getting a ton of them. All right, guys, we're gonna fill you in on. My guy's not gonna turn them off. Turn this thing off. I'm done. We'll have to figure that out sometime.
Yeah, we'll figure it out.
Anywho, we had a big day today. We shot a little episode of Getting to Know Your Hoosiers because we want to thank you guys.
No doubt.
From the bottom of our hearts. I mean, we were two bobos at a radio station at one point. We were in the basement at one point. We were lost, just adrift in the world at one point until our guy Seth found us and said, "You guys are too damn good
to be wasting away.
Too solid of journalists. Radio journalists is what he called us."
Yes. Yes.
And so tonight we're going to take you down a little trip down memory lane. Literally, we didn't quite get to Craig's video, but we shot some video in his old neighborhood. And
all of our video. Yeah, that's going to be a nice recurring little series.
Yeah, I can't wait for that. But you guys, you are the real deal. Everyone who's been along with us for this ride, I can't thank them enough. I mean, especially, we turn this into an ad, but Lifetime, James Carlton.
They were the first ones on board. Lifetime and James Carlton. James came up to me in a B&I meeting, in a business networking meeting, says, "I'm in. You guys are doing something. You and Cucky are doing something.
They believe in it.
I'm in." And I was like, so if I got James Carlton on my side, I'm going to run through a brick wall because I know that I got the right people on my side.
He made a shirt for the Cucky run.
He did make a shirt for the Cucky run.
That's one of my favorite
I would
things.
love to get me some of this native hemp extract. If you
That's
don't mind.
native hemp extract, 1,800 milligrams.
And guys, let me just
he
tell
believes
you.
in us too. Thank you to all the people who believe in us, man. You guys fucking did it. You guys have created monsters. What's wrong with you freaks? These people got problems, man. You guys got mental problems, man.
I will say this, just to let our fans know.
Yeah, let them know.
There's a real rockin' deal right now on native
Here's
hemp
Craig
extract.
with Salesman Craig. It's a rockin' deal.
Rockin' deal, dude. An additional 30% off the already discounted price. This is a price that you guys can't even, I mean, anybody that's already got it, I know you're excited to be able to buy it even that much cheaper. Go to our site. The code is HOSO. I don't care how you type it in. You use caps. I don't care.
Do whatever.
Do whatever you want. All you got to do is add it to your cart on the Native Hemp website. You enter HOSO. We're going to give a portion of the proceeds to Aiden's Alliance. You're going to buy the best CBD extract I've ever used, personally.
What we've done is, I realized it, and we talked about it from the beginning, James Carlton is the best insurance agent. Lifetime Roofing is the best roofing company, and this is the best hemp flower extract.
No doubt.
I've tried just to get my brain going, to get my whole juices flowing. I love this stuff. We'll turn this whole motherfucking thing into an ad. See what you people have done to us.
See what you've done
bastards.
2 years in. 2 years in, and we got commercials coming
The
at
whole
you.
damn time.
Coming at you.
Craig, we were talking about some of our favorite cannabis moments, some of our favorite psychedelic moments. Would you like to hit me off with maybe one of your favorite cannabis moments? I'm talking, let's go back to the changing
all the way
station.
back.
We got kicked off the radio because management thought we were slanging weed out the place.
I mean,
On the radio,
on a
not-
technicality, we weren't really selling weed.
No,
we were
we were
smelling
vapes.
weed smoking apparatuses.
Yes.
But really, it was for legal concentrates. We let everybody know there are legal concentrates that you can smoke.
we thought, we were like, yeah, I think that's a thing.
We were just
like,
doing it. But yeah, maybe we are hustling.
Yeah, maybe
weed
we
products. I
are
don't
trying
know.
to get people to smoke this CBD, because I didn't even really know what CBD was at that point. I kind of knew.
We were just smoking trees.
But I was
man.
just like, oh, there's this stuff that's like hemp, but it's not exactly weed, but it's weed. It's weed. Like, you look at it, it's weed.
It's weed.
It's legal. I better figure out, and then figuring out the whole medicinal aspects of it. So give me one of your favorite weed moments.
Well, okay. I mean, to take it all the way back to the beginning was just you and I never knew each other. We bonded over a blunt. We bonded over social media.
Yeah.
But really, I mean,
Cardinal
when we first meet each other, we burn a hooter down. You get me fucking hired in pterodactyl titties. I go into the studio and have absolutely no business being on the radio. Couldn't tell a story, but had so much fun with you and knew that it was something, like immediately knew it was something that we should just be doing. There was a great little give and take there, that we got to explore on. So from that,
That reminds me. CBD tap.
no doubt. To start there, okay, we start bringing in people that talk about cannabis. You brought in Robbie Basil and Stephanie
Blake
Tubbs.
was one of our
Blake
first
was the
guys.
first one.
He kind of
Blake
got
came
me
in.
into that world a little bit. A
No
buddy
doubt.
from the fan page, the original TMA fan page, got me in touch with
Was
Blake.
it Jeff Cox?
May have been Jeff
think
Cox.
it might have been Jeff
Coxie.
Cox.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and then that was a monumental meeting. Someone I met in my life
that
who
the
would
best?
change everything.
No doubt.
Someone that I was just like, yeah, I'll have him on the
And I
radio
love
show.
Blake.
I
I
love
love Blake Bell.
I love
Bell
Blake Bell.
Chiropractic. They've been along for. They were an early
OG.
sponsor.
OG.
And like Blake was just all about getting the right information out there to people and helping people. I think that's
He's all about the
I
veterans.
think that is always at the core of everything he does. So I'm a big Blake Bell fan.
Because he's kind of a puny guy. I think he always
Yeah, a
looked
little.
up.
He's just a will guy.
He's just a will guy. I think he looked up to veterans because he's such a
So
tiny little.
he actually brought in. At this point, we had a couple shows together under our belt. You Running Point was my favorite. We got to go back to that. That was the best shit.
I re-listened to
That
that,
was the
shit. I'm
best
like,
shit.
so guys, what's up? I saw a bird over there. You guys see that?
It was
thing?
great,
That's
though.
crazy. What about this news
It was
story?
great.
We were moving. Baby.
We were moving. We had to get it all.
pace.
We had to get it in
At
an
a
hour.
pace.
We had to get it in an
My
hour.
first show, little thing, you might not even know this. My first show, I wrote down a notebook because I did a GoFundMe for my first month
Sure.
of
Yeah,
advertising.
you don't wanna shit the
So I
bed.
didn't want to let anybody down. Like my aunts and uncles were like donating it like I was an 18-year-old. I was like 32.
Sure.
But anyway, so I get this whole notebook, and the first show, it wasn't even with Plowsy, it was with the another producer there, Sea Monster. And we talked so much in an hour that I got through like my first sentence. My mom was my first guest ever on the show. Like I wanted to be able to go back.
Seth
and
was
say
listening in his car outside of his house. That was his introduction to the program.
to the fucking changing station, dude. So we started out all dick jokes.
Yeah.
And then Robbie Basil, Blake
first
Bell,
Blake
Stephanie Tubbs,
brought Jeff Mazansky and Tom Mundell
Tom
in.
Mundell.
And those two stories made for a real riveting hour of AM radio.
Tom Mundell, Jeff Mazansky talking about being a master carpenter,
Having to build furniture in the house, in the big
having
house.
to build furniture for 7 cents an hour. And here's a guy who's like, well, we caught you with weed 3 times, buddy, or more than a couple. You just haven't learned your lesson. You ready to go life in a cage over this thing? Sure. Now it's considered an essential business.
Which is the best, I guess. I mean, we always talk about that, like the people that fell victim to the war on drugs. You know, whether or not I'm sure you know they can cheer on progress while still being like, "Ain't this some shit?"
Ain't this some shit?
You know.
Dude, for sure.
Okay, so I just wanted to start back there. Like that was kind of the beginning. Then we brought Robbie and Stephanie. It got a little heavier from there because they were parents that were actively dealing with it, and you got involved with the Hamilton family, which I think was what got you head over heels. Did you get involved with them before you went to Colorado?
Yes, I believe Chance was before the Colorado. Everything started happening around the
same time. So that was the other thing is like, it's kind of kismet.
Yes.
Because all of this information, all of these connections were coming together as people really needed it. So you bring that back. You come back and you're juiced about that.
Getting to see the veterans.
You and I, at this point, the AM radio just didn't, I think to you, just didn't really seem like it made a whole lot of sense. But we would have kept doing it. But the station said, hey, you guys can't talk about weed. And we're like, well, we don't want to talk about sports because what are Craig and Steve? What are we going to talk about on Friday night after an entire week of sports talk? Like, there's nothing happening at midnight on a Friday. So we gave them some sports. And ultimately, they looked at us and they said, that was awesome. That's exactly what we're talking about. You guys can have the 6 o'clock time slot.
I read the
Fridays.
schedule. I was like 4 o'clock Milwaukee. Oh, 6 o'clock on a Saturday, Milwaukee? Are you kidding? Are you kidding me? And you're like, yeah, man, I can't believe they did it. And Joe Hamilton was
got mad about a
getting
businessman special.
He's like, how are they going to do that?
He didn't even have a job. Why would he care? He can go at any time.
He's the only guy who can go.
He can go at any time.
That's what he was mad about. He's going to let everybody else go to this
That's
game.
the deal. So all right, you and I ultimately. Well, we decided to call it quits. They kind of decided for us. They wanted to change the tone of the program.
We're done.
But we weren't done talking, and Plowsy wasn't done talking. So we're like, fuck it. We'll do it in the basement. We'll just have some fun with it, and we're going to go talk about this stuff that we feel like people want to know about. Yeah. You and I, we pulled our money together. Didn't have a whole bunch. Didn't have two nickels to rub together at the time. And both of our brides
now we're rich off our fucking wildest
Both of our brides encouraged us to.
Well, they were like, yeah, how much do you guys, about $130 each to split that H6?
Yeah, it was more than that, but yeah.
Well, remember we did a price match from just some random
Sweet
thing.
Deal. We got it. We go down to Gazelig. Our buddy Joel Clark, who is a buddy of Dustin McClendon, was managing Gazelig. He goes, hey man, we're having a fundraiser for Show Me Cannabis to get medical cannabis on the ballot. And we're like, cool. He's like, I figured it'd be a good opportunity for you guys to come out and do a podcast.
What's this, 2014?
Hang out, 16.
Okay.
16.
Okay. Yeah.
And so we go down there, and this was before Pie Guy was there yet. It was still a part of Gazelig. And it was just an empty kind of storage area. We put a couch out on the street. We had our brand new H6, and we started talking to people. It happened to be Matthew Blind's birthday. So happy birthday to Matthew Blind.
Yes.
It's probably not that day. It was pretty close though.
Happy birthday, Dad.
Yeah,
happy
it's
birthday,
coming up.
Dan.
It's coming up sometime.
Probably.
Whatever.
Yeah.
That day, it was Matthew Blind's birthday. We sat down with John Payne for a pretty long interview.
Talked weed for a long time.
It was a tremendous interview with John Payne. I'm like, man, this guy's pretty sharp. Find out we have a bunch of stuff in common.
We didn't have our microphones set up yet, so the audio was trash.
We used the H6 as the microphone, and we recorded the room, which gave us a lot of ambient noise.
A lot. And we had the street right there, so.
Yeah. Anyway, it was fun, though. We did a bunch of interviews with people on the street, man on the street type stuff. You won the cool cannabis flag.
Oh, yeah, I won that.
I think Roman has it now. Maybe he won it.
George has got one, too.
Yeah, George Biswell, maybe. Anyway, one of those guys born on August 21st.
Yeah, one of those pussies.
One of those fucking clowns.
No, that's the deal I want to get across to everyone, too. From our first little party on the street in Tower Grove, people have been welcoming us over and over again, and the group is just a way to reciprocate that, to welcome everyone in the fold, because I don't know if there's a better feeling than going with a bunch of people that you're like, they seem cool, they seem nice, but I'm kind of alone here. You come up and everyone immediately is like, hey man, what's up? Come on in, fucking, take your shoes off, drink the Kool-Aid, baby. Like in the most sweet, and kind way.
Yeah.
Just bringing people into the
Yeah.
fold. Not realizing the more I talk about this, the more it sounds like some sort of
Cult action.
cult. It's not a sex cult, but it's just a place to bring people together who aren't going to judge. And if we do get in a little spat, I love it because I'm like, oh shit, we're getting a little chippy with each other. Because by the end of it, usually they're like, yeah, no, you post some good stuff, and I'm having a shitty day.
Well, straight up.
And I love the people, just the people who have helped us along the way from that very first day with our H6,
No doubt.
to up until now. Like I just
No doubt,
can't
man.
thank
We
these
got
motherfuckers enough.
feedback from, I got buddies that are audio engineers down in Springfield. I was like, what do you think about this H6? What are the best microphones? I mean, everybody was happy to help. They're like,
Yeah, I know.
you guys are supposed to be doing this, which was really encouraging. So I wanted to look up your post because you posted about it in the day, and you brought up something about how things get a little chippy on the page, and that's great. The things that make this group, I mean, the page is certainly something that people rally around, but if you haven't had the opportunity to come to a live event, it's a game changer. Like, you'll find the way that you're communicating with people online softens for everybody, not just people in the group, but just softens pretty much for everybody. But you'll see you'll see how much more respectful the conversation is between two people that disagree that have been through a little magical weekend in the woods or a party of sorts. We've had some awesome parties. So I wanted to just kind of go through. I'm going to read through some of them. Just some people's favorite memories. Chris Hook says Cotillion 2019. Last Cotillion was a rager, bud. Robbie Glow says a dog leaned up against me on a couch and sang Sublime out of tune to your fine piece of stringed wood.
That's some Rob Glow.
Matt Neal also says Cotillion 2019, but also just meeting all of you amazing people has been great. I love my sophisticated Hoosier family. Craig and Steven have built a great community, and we're also thankful. Happy anniversary. That means a lot, man. Jessica Evans said Hoosier sing-along. That was our last one. She also said your and my cocks a floppin' snowball fight. Stephen George Elgin's videos during the Blues Stanley Cup run had Becky in tears. Mike Linder says New Year's Eve 2019, Cotillion 2019, powwow. Literally about any time we've all hung out. Lee Carr says the late night at the lake. I recorded the podcast with Lee Carr this week about psychedelics. I'm working on the audio. Zoom. Zoom's going to take it to the moon, pal. Zoom.
Right in the kisser.
Right, pal, right in the kisser. Brad Hagedorn says the Blues Hard video.
Sons of St. Louis.
Hey, I'm Cookie the Dwarf.
Hey, I heard Cookie the Dwarf has a 12-inch cock. Yours is 3 at best. Oh, one of my favorite things ever.
Chris Wolfenbarger says, I have the same birthday as Hoosier Sophisticate. You do. Happy birthday, Wolfie. Jennifer Bear says, Cotillion, New Year's Eve, spending my birthday with you beautiful Hoosiers last year.
Hoosiers.
Hoosiers. Braveheart Cucky and Bobby Battlehawk. Hoosier Sing-Along, just to name a few. And I had to clarify if it was her birthday that her husband poisoned me. You went to Game 6, and I was poisoned.
Poisoned? You had a great time, dude.
So that would be up there with the cannabis memories for sure.
That was one of my greatest nights of all time if the Blues didn't poop the bed that night.
Jimmy Walbridge says, J.D. Castillo's wife letting you heathens have it.
That's
a great choice there, Jimmy.
That was great, dude. How dare you show titties on this
Chris
page.
Phoenix says, happy anniversary. Seth Gabriel says, interviewing the inventor of the thought screen helmet, which has been stopping alien abductions since 1999.
That guy's onto something
When
now.
he brought that up.
And you called it a product?
I just said, you sell a product. I don't sell a product,
You don't
sir.
sell a product, you ass.
I give people...
You complete ass.
And you kept asking him about anal probing.
Oh, yeah.
We were on 920, we're on
on
gospel radio. And Steve he goes, yeah, but my buddy was abducted, and he said that he was anal probed. He goes, that's a big lie. Yep. That's not what they're interested in, blah, blah, blah. And Steve's like, yeah, but. And he just kept going back to it, dude. It was so great. Seth loved taken out of context, and Craig moments were the ideas that he was most proud of. And interviewing George Christie was another favorite. George Christie was a great interview.
Interesting way to think about your own life, too. Seeing someone that you're like, this guy's awesome, but oh my God, he's probably done horrible things to people.
Yeah.
You know, but you're like, this guy's great, a great entertainer as far as
He was the face
storyteller.
for the largest,
Hell's
you know, yeah,
Angels.
he's the face for him. He's supposed to be charming, and
And
he
his
was great
code,
though.
his fucking like the code. The Pee Wee
I
bike
love,
is one of my favorite
I love
things of all
outlaw
time.
bike. I love bikers, and you know, I love the outlaw life. I can appreciate it. Roman McNew, oh, so too many to count, but first cotillion for sure. Naked bike ride was also fun.
Oh, yeah,
those
that
were
was
two
good.
great memories, Roman, because the first cotillion really was something different. It was a different thing. It was a really
We were trying something
intimate,
new, man.
small group of people. And I had some like delusions of grandeur for what I would like to see, and I still have this idea for down the road, but like that wasn't what it was for, but what it became was like this fucking amazing thing, so much so that like the FOMO around the group, and it's one of those things where it's a damned if you do, kind of damned if you don't
Double-edged
kind of
sword
thing.
type?
It is, because so many people in the group want to be able to experience cotillion, but cotillion really can't grow anymore.
Yep.
We hit a major
get too big.
major max last year, and not because like I think that the community itself could definitely hold its own, because it really doesn't fray. Everybody stays real tight together. So I think that would be okay. I think as you introduce more people, you do start having multiple cancers. More than anything, we can't go and have our time without having somebody else
we'd have to
manage
hire
the
somebody,
situation.
yeah.
And that isn't what we want to do.
I know.
That is like that we want to be, you know, intimately connecting with our friends and fans.
Because that's what it is. That's what makes it.
It is. That's
what it is.
100% what makes it, and it's something that we have seen, like these unbelievable spurts in growth and in, I guess, just intimacy, for lack of word. Like where then we come back to the page and everybody's a little bit more open, a little bit more vulnerable, a little bit more whatever, because now we actually have been with our family long enough to kind of trust them.
Our dudes and chicks form like little tribes too within them and support each
My
other's
favorite
shit.
thing
like
is when you're about a day and a half into cotillion, right? Like you're on the back side of it. My favorite thing is seeing the people that are paired off in deep, heavy conversation that didn't know one another coming into it, or just like, you know, they're too busy with their immediate tight little, like, I think our group is not very cliquish. You know, there are people that are tighter because...
I think it goes into clicks, but they'll change.
But that's the whole deal, is like it's interchangeable.
Yeah.
And so my favorite thing is to see all these people who barely know each other. They're, you know, they're engaged. I remember looking around the campfire like, huh. Yeah. I would have never thought you two would be in the... That's what's amazing. Yeah. And so I think our live events have taken it to the next level, and that's why everybody's talking about it. First Halloween show was Seth's favorite episode.
I want to say something too
ahead.
about seeing Cynthia show up for the first time. I'll never forget it. She was carrying something heavy. I don't know if it was
a
that big
slab
of marble or some shit. It was a fucking countertop. I don't know what it was.
It was basically we built an altar. Like we had like a...
Yes, we had plans to build an altar. She comes with
a nice altar piece.
The heat of altars, dude. And other, like a drum. I think she had a drum and another thing. You can just restart those, Mike, if you want. She had the setup, and everyone's willingness to rush to her and say,
let me help you.
Let me help you with this shit. And I could see in her face the apprehension turn into, oh, I'm gonna fucking dig this. If this is the first impression, I'm gonna feel real good hanging out here.
No doubt.
And that seeing that transition and feeling that space change.
You've talked about horror stories camping, and
Bud.
You know, and like cotillion just doesn't have that.
Bud.
John Hendricks says cotillion hands down, but then Steve's denim party. Steve's denim party was a riot. That was so much fun.
We've had some fun parties.
No doubt. That's what I'm saying.
Denim party.
No doubt. Heather Hausman.
Cotillion.
Heather Hausman, you witchy woman, you. First cotillion, second cotillion, healing retreat. That would have been Piney Powwow.
That's the only thing I'm bummed about missing.
First anniversary party, being on the show, finding my tribe, all the hugs, the sing-along, New Year's Eve 2019. Really, there hasn't been a dull moment. Every event I've been to has been so much fun and great memories. I know I'm missing a few, but I'm looking forward to prom as well.
We'll probably have to move prom back.
In the city of St. Louis, guys, it looks like we're going to have to probably press
Bullshit.
prom back at least a couple of weeks. Sorry.
Bullshit. I'm pissed.
Yeah.
Oh well, that's a.
We'll let you know. We haven't made an announcement yet. We'll let you know in a couple weeks.
Yeah, it's gonna be Cotillion has the possibility of being very special and very unique this year.
Yeah.
I think. I mean, whether or not it's a part of something or not,
we'll see.
It has a possibility of being something.
We'll see.
Fantastic.
And so and not to bore all the people that maybe
Bore 'em, I don't care.
haven't
We've
known
been doing
forever.
this for
We're
2 years.
celebrating the people that have been along the ride.
Yes.
Like that's what this is all about. So make it to those things. I talked to you the other day about how important it is to me that we do a float trip as a group in this intimate setting.
Because I was like, we can go a lake.
And that's fine.
Yeah.
The lake's a great
Okay,
idea.
settle down. You're starting to get a little
It's
loud.
a great idea. I love the idea of like a lake retreat too. Probably for the fall, it's a better play. For what we did in the fall, that would be that's a great play.
I hear you.
Because in the summertime, the float trip is what really connects people. It's what makes those late night conversations happen because when you're on the river for 7 or 8 hours, you're climbing in and out of different boats. You're going through shit together.
You're going through some shit.
You're singing
some
songs
shit
together.
that happens bonds you
No doubt.
through the trauma
It's
that
just
is
like-
pulling
it's just
a raft
like-
through a fucking riffle area.
I will never forget my brother sitting on a raft, and it's me. I think you had just jumped out into the water. My brother's sitting kind of where you were. Jen's up on the boat. We're sitting there kind of paddling along. And my brother's like looking off into the distance, and he's like, I think, and I mean, dude, it's a good 300 yards away, maybe 400 yards away downriver. And he's like, I think Jenna's like caught. And so Jenna had borrowed somebody's kayak.
I remember that.
And she got tangled up in like a.
I know whose kayak it was. My guy's, wasn't it?
Oh, it was Zach's.
Oh, okay.
It was Zach's.
I thought it was the other guy.
No. But so she gets tangled up, and like I can't really see what the hell he's talking about. And then all of a sudden, you just see a
brother's like, I got 20/10 vision.
You just see a paddle go. He goes, no. All I can see is he goes, just pay attention over there. You're gonna see like a yellow flash just go like this. And dude, you would just see her angrily like trying to get the paddle out from, and she's just caught. She can't move, and she's got her like 12-gallon hat on, and like sunglasses, and she's just pissed. And it was like, and I'm not laughing at you, babe, but I was laughing at you. It was one of the funniest things ever.
Well, that's the fun
between
parts about
that,
the river.
me and your wife started laughing
my God.
so hard, and this was after
Jenny
Billy
was like,
Idol.
I'm gonna pee on this raft.
She's
And we're
like,
I'm peeing in the boat.
Yeah,
I'm gonna like get in the water.
And I'm like,
She's
you're not in the water.
I'm
I'm
laughing too
fucking
hard.
laughing, dude. I'm peeing in the boat.
Fuck you.
I love that shit. It was, but
Billy Idol?
the connections.
Billy Idol?
Billy Idol.
Billy Idol. We had a point where we were just saying the same thing over, and this guy was just smiling back. And we're like, Billy Idol? And to the point where we couldn't take it anymore. You get a little delirious on the river, and it makes people laugh like they've never laughed before. You see things. I mean, the rescue downriver, having those other people give the Gatorade, and then it ended up not being that dangerous. But I was like,
I knew it
this is why.
And I was like,
do this.
this is why I do this.
Yeah, exactly.
Steve's like,
Makes sense.
no, we gotta go get somebody. And I'm like, yeah, all right, it's fine.
He laughed.
I laughed heartily.
So did my wife.
I go, I'm a doctor.
As soon as one of them gets going, the other one gets going, and it's
We
ridiculous.
can't help it.
Dude.
Jen and I died the same stuff. Dan Bear says, I mean, I haven't been fortunate enough to attend a Hoosier gathering yet. But
What a loser.
But I do love all the titty posts.
Yeah, he
Titty,
gets
titty,
it.
titty, titty. Jen says, happy second anniversary. Too many good times to count. Any Hoosier get-together has been some of my best times. I have met lifelong friends, family out of this whole thing, and I will forever be grateful for that. Craig Moments is one of my favorite segments. I also love all of the commercials and videos you guys come up with. Can't wait to see what the future holds for you guys. Cheers to many more years of doing what you love and helping and educating as many people as you can along the way. That was from your wife.
Damn, that's awesome.
Aspen Jewel says, every time you wear those damn jean shorts is her favorite moment. Settle down,
yeah.
Aspen.
Hey,
Settle
Mike,
down.
you can make the chat message a little bigger if you click the box. I'm going to walk Mike through this. Keep reading stuff. Click that.
Missy says,
No, just, left click.
First-
Nope, now you're moving it. Nope. Just click that dot and drag it over. That red dot right above it. Nope, that's not what you're doing. Do you? Yeah, just make it a little bigger.
There you go.
Now move it back to the top where it was.
Missy says, first cotillion, accidentally
There you go,
drinking
perfect.
about 4 shots of vodka.
My dude.
I thought was water.
Oh, that
thanks
was
to
great.
all the Lucy. And about 10 minutes later, realizing I
That
was having
was
the
great.
most fun I'd ever had in my life. She grabbed what
I
appeared to be a
remember it.
water bottle.
Yeah, it looked like a...
It was just a water bottle.
Yeah,
That's
like,
all it was.
They have cool names for them. It's like, oh, it's my kuvas or whatever.
Oh,
they
yeah,
call
it was
them.
probably like a thermoflask or
Yeah,
something.
and she was like, gulp, gulp,
And
gulp,
my betrothed
gulp.
does
and we're
not
kind of
drink.
looking at her, and she goes, that was vodka. And we're like, oh, shit, butter and vodka will always get the better of you, lady. Oh, shit, dude. That was amazing, because you could see the transition.
Yep.
You could see it like, whoa.
And then she said the table.
Because we had a couple boats fucking rocking out
dude,
there,
well, that's the
dude.
thing is there's
And we're the only
always-
people out there.
There's always, that's how it goes.
Usually, except for
The table catching fire on second cotillion was not my favorite memory, but it was one of hers. It was also, but I will tell you what was magical about that moment. When that was when I was kind of wandering about trying to figure out what the fuck was going on in my world. You know, I was really trying to integrate, and I was I was in a flat spin of the abyss, and I went and sought out Missy, and it's fucking so great to have a person, you know.
Yeah.
And I was like, babe, you want to take a walk with me? You know, like let's just go take a little walk, and we go down to our altar, you know, and
dry brush everywhere.
and it was getting late, you know, and it was
Oh,
one
it
of
was
those
early
It was
at this
yeah, it was
point.
second night, so you don't want the party to end. And this was ultimately like, had I went to bed 3 hours earlier, like at a regular late time, I would have been just fine. But I was fighting sleep because I did not want the party to be over. And so we take a little walk down there, and man, like somebody had left.
Somebody, all of us, we were all.
I know in
culpable.
particular who this was, but like
Name it.
There was
Name them.
there was
Name them.
there was a tarot deck.
Oh, is it Tarzan guy?
There was a tarot deck.
I like that guy a lot.
There was a tarot deck that was
him?
left right by the candles.
Tell me, was it him?
That Missy has hated forever. She's hated this deck. She's like, somebody will find it. It's gonna find
Oh,
its
is
home.
Missy's deck?
But somebody was reading it throughout the day.
Was it
She left it
Tarzan?
over.
Tarzan, we had a guy there who was a friend of a friend.
Yes.
Guy
It
comes
was.
out and
It was.
like Peter Pan.
He's a
shorts.
great dude, by the way. I've hung out with him
a
since.
phenomenal
Tim's his
dude.
name. He's
Tim
tremendous.
is Tarzan, fucking dude. He got named out on the river. He was jumping in off the river, like, but doing it in a safe way to where you don't have to be like, hey man, is this idiot gonna hurt himself? No, he's like swimming around a little bit and then jumping off. I'm like, okay, I can deal with that because I'm not trying to have that. I'm 18 and I'm never gonna die. Cannonball off this ledge, and you're like, oh dude, you can see bottom over there, bud. Like, watch that tailbone. What's that tailbone, Chad? You know what I mean? Chad's gonna jump right off that thing, and then ruins everybody's time.
No, I'm burying you
I'm
at
still
that
going.
point.
I'm still going.
You're just floating, pal. Joe Pollock says first cotillion catching those couple small rock bass.
Oh, he was.
And second
yeah.
cotillion stacking rocks. Shout out to Scotty for showing me the way. They did. They stacked a heck of a little dam. Remember how much that water
stacked
was
some
how hard that water
I've
started
heard you're
flowing
not
through?
supposed to do that. I heard you're not supposed to
Whatever.
do that. I don't know. That's why. Okay, jerk off.
Rachel
motion. How dare
Dicka
you.
says the first motherfucking cotillion.
Well, that's where I saw Rachel and Mick for just the beautiful humans that they are, with them glowing and Mick explaining the trees while also kind of becoming one at the same time. And I'm like, oh man, this is good. This is a good one.
Mike,
like,
did you have one on there?
I did. Knowledge Nebula. I'm trying to remember what they said because it disappeared. Something about
we can pull it up.
painting that they got from them. I can't find it on here, but they said that. Think that this person gave it to you when you met.
Roman McNew.
Roman McNew.
Roman McNew made that painting.
Okay. Yeah.
Yep, no doubt.
And then we got replying to Missy Bliss. You set the table on fire.
She didn't set the table on fire. But there was an irresponsible. It was everybody's irresponsibility.
We were all there.
But the point is I went down there. she was going for a walk with me, and God love her, Cynthia's over there, and she's like, guys, because her tent was fairly close. She's like, I think we kind of almost got kind of an issue here, and sure enough, we got to it just in time. I happened to have like my 48th Natty Light in my hand, and I was like, I guess this one can go to the cause. And I poured my, Miss had a half a bottle of water, so we like extinguished the flames. Caught it just in time. I'm glad that we caught it the way we did. We've made changes since then. To how we get better. You learn.
You get better every time. Thank you.
You get better.
My favorite thing too was also the time and effort you and a couple of the other guys put into making a real cool, safe zone that I saw people legitimately transformed inside of. A wood portal, dude. Like, you told me, Craig's a big idea guy. I've been doing this long enough to know what my budget's gonna be. I know I have jean shorts and a shirt to wear. I know that's my budget for half of the shit I do. Craig is he'll have all these ideas, but he'll be like, we're gonna hang this thing in the sky and I'll project these lights on it and we're gonna cue in music and you're gonna have an area to sit down and there's gonna be an area for people to hang out. But there's gonna be an area where the light can come through from the sky, but also there's trees hanging above you. So the screen's gonna go not only there, but on the trees. And I'm like, sounds good, bud. I hope that all works out for you.
Craig's fucking on one, guys.
And sure as shit, he built something pretty much identical to what I just described in the woods, a place where people felt also so safe to fucking like chill and get to know themselves better than they've ever got to know themselves.
No doubt.
Dude.
Yeah, well, that was the idea. It was a place that was going to be just a real comfortable getaway from, because the campfire gets to be a lot sometimes. There's a lot of, when you're everybody's time went on going a different way. There's a nice place to disappear to, which there's a funny story in and of that, because Steve comes down, he's like, oh man,
I was jacked up. And
Steve and I were just on a different wavelength
and
at
I'm
that
having
moment.
the time of my life, and Craig's like, I don't know if this area is as good. Craig always thinks too that nothing he does is really that good until he's like, oh, it wasn't that bad. But he's like, I'm like, you've built a dreamland, sir. And he's like, I don't know, man. I don't know if the party's like right down here, like the party up there. If the party's right down here. And he was saying, don't bring that party down here.
That's exactly what I was saying. I was like, no. Keep that up there.
Yeah, he's worried about it coming down there. And I was like, you want me to bring the party
buddy, if you're lonely.
Yeah, I thought he was like,
if you're lonely,
I thought he was
we
mad
can
because no one was down there. I was like, grab the shit. Get to Craig's zone, dude. And when we showed up, I saw your face and you were pulling your hair out from the sides. I was like, I misread this one.
I disappear the other way. I go and sit at the campfire with like 3 people. Steve brings everybody down there. I'm like, I just want to die.
You know that chill zone? Steve has 8 drummers and 3 guitars down there.
It's kicked it up a level. That's okay. I wanted everybody to enjoy it.
We did it for just a little time.
No, it was awesome. Hugging a tree and thinking I was going to die at the first cotillion, and then realizing I wasn't going to die, but rather have the time of my life. Diane, the fucking sound healing with the gong at the healing retreat, and everyone's love for each other. Literally the best thing ever.
Yeah, for sure, man.
Getting to hang out with y'all at the Grow kickoff. You asked me what my favorite weed memory was. That one's up there, bud. And I cannot wait to go to the Lake of the Ozarks to Grow Trade Fest. Oh, no. School's back in by September. We're fucking going to Grow Trade. Get your tickets.
Because they were talking about postponing it, weren't they?
Get your tickets to Grow Trade Fest. We're fucking... This shit, we're going. All right? Parson opened it up. You were down at the lake. People don't care.
People don't care at all.
They don't care.
No one's sick down there. Everyone's fine. They're just living. They're just being like, oh, yeah, I'm at the lake. If I catch it on the lake, I catch it on the fucking lake. Sorry, guys.
We've seen some
pulling hogs.
We've seen a really cool... Mike, you got anything on the text line there? Get yourself a little...
His mic's echoing.
You know what? He can hear us. That's all right. They can hear.
Having a concert, Missy Bliss, having a concert in front of the altar was dope.
No doubt.
Yeah, it was.
No doubt.
Tiffany Jones were playing to John Hendricks. I know I say it over and over, but we were like naked monkeys chilling in the river together. I loved it. Bring back sound healing too.
pissed I missed that, dude.
Jenny, I will never forget the look on Craig's face when a group of people started heading to his space in the woods.
Yeah, I did that.
Mike Linder, sounds like I'm going to grow trees.
Oh, yes.
Oh,
yes.
I'm serious, guys. If you want to be a part of, like, here's the thing. All of these different cannabis, I was going to say one of my, I'm sorry, go ahead, Mike, did I cut you off?
One more.
Go ahead.
It's changing for sure, but we are still trying to plan a party by Christopher Rachel.
Oh,
All right.
it's changing
Okay,
for sure.
we'll figure it out.
You wagged a finger in my
We'll
face.
figure it out. I'm telling them, too. I'm telling them broads, too.
Do it. Do it. You
Listen.
tell them.
The thing is that all of these cannabis events have their own little flavor, and they've all been a lot of fun to go to. I remember the very first MJ MoCan BizCon was like, I couldn't believe it. I couldn't believe I was standing in Union Station, and we had already made a lot of friends by that point. Yeah. So like there was enough familiar faces kind of, around. We got to go to the Cannabis Industry Showcase in Kansas City, put on by the Turners. Colton Turner Foundation was the first place we saw Max Montrose. Didn't get a chance to riff with him. The three of us, it was our first go together, me, you, and Mike. And we got to go eat at some tight little spots at Kansas City.
That was a great trip.
Great little trip.
Great
My buddy
trip.
Luke came and sat with us for the Gospel of Luke podcast, which you guys can find. Hell, we've re-released it on Missouri Psychedelic podcast, and it's on Hoosier Sophisticate. It's a great 3-hour talk. You want to get into some existentialism, and it's a good talk.
It's good.
But just the three of us, man. Like finding a little, getting dapper for a little gala. That was a blast.
Secondhand little wool suits that we
No
had
doubt,
for
dude.
the
It was a blast.
30s or what was it? Prohibition.
Yeah, it was a Prohibition party.
Yeah, and Colton's been a dude for us the whole time. The whole Turner family. Jeez, Louise.
I love the Turners. I love the Turners.
Tuesdays with the Turners.
It's great.
I try to tune in.
How about their themed dinner nights?
What the fuck was that?
How cool are they? Like
They're
they
so
could have
cool.
they could have had a TikTok or something.
That was like a
going.
little too much. Like I was like, you're trying too hard. You're trying
Dial
to
it
make me
back
look
a little
bad. My
bit.
kids see this and they're like,
Yeah.
we need
Now
to
I look like an
dance
asshole
all
at
night.
home.
I'm like, no, I don't. Listen, the Turners care about people. Your dad doesn't. Okay, like that's what I have to tell my kids. Like that's what they have to just learn now.
What's your favorite cannabis memory?
I got my God, there's so many. The first thing that hit me was going to Colorado with the veterans and
Project
our buddy
422.
Dave saying, hey, this is helping me sleep. Because I was going to my first dispensaries and being like, what's the most percentage of weed I can get? And I want it. And the veteran who I made wait in line behind me or whatever, is saying, oh, what can help me sleep? Because I haven't slept well in 14 years. And I'm like, oh, you selfish bastard. So then the next day, hearing how it worked for so many people the first night who had never really tried. Now they were in a legal state. Now they could do it. Now they didn't feel like a criminal. Now they weren't a fucking criminal to try to help them sleep at night. This most simple, basic thing. And to hear one or two of the guys say, wow, it's life-changing. And Chris Wolfenberger's speech, he takes his hat and he puts his hat
Give him
on.
that. It's his birthday. Fucking tell everybody this story.
We go sit in this room, and it's a couple of the guys from Project for 22, and Chris Wolfenbarger's up there, and he just carries a presence with him. Like,
He does.
when he's speaking, and
He's a great speaker.
I had barely known him at this point. First time I met him, he's drinking a milkshake. It's got like 500 milligrams in it. He's got shades on and a bald cap. He's like, so you the camera dude or what's up? And I'm like, yeah, because I'm nobody. I'm hanging around with a bunch of veterans. I don't know if they're gonna be like, oh, okay, pussy. You know what I mean? Like a lot of them.
They were.
Exactly.
Yeah,
well, a
they
lot of
were.
them were like, where'd you serve? Because they thought I was part of it. And then I was like, no, I'm just helping the camera people. And they're like, cool. You know what I mean? Like, thanks for helping. You know what I mean? Like, that's the deal. So he gets up there, and it's a table, and we're sitting in a classroom, and we're videotaping. I'm supposed to be videotaping it. And he puts his hat on the table, and he says veteran and stuff. And he's like, I was blown up in Iraq. My wife is on her way home right now to go to be like in hospice with her father or something. And he's like, I'm coming with you, honey. I'm coming with you. And she goes, no, this is too important. I'll be fine. You've done your job taking care of me. I'll be fine. You get the message out and make sure people know that cannabis is a medicine that can help people. And the way he never forget, he just puts his head out there saying, and he goes, all we're asking, all the veterans are asking is we were the ones to raise our hand and say, I will guard the wall. And I was like, oh, dude, like we talk about a tribe all the time, but to have someone in your tribe when the bandits are at the fucking door.
Better have some warriors.
You better have somebody who goes, put me out there first, motherfucker. I don't care. I will do it. You know what I mean? So it's like, that touched me in a way that I'll never forget. Like the way he presented that whole thing, I was like, damn, this is a guy I want to know. And he was a medic. And it's funny because everyone's like,
he was
medic,
a medic.
Woo, love you, buddy.
He was older
like,
than I am now before he joined. Like that's how
unbelievable.
How called to the cause he was. Yeah. God love him. Yeah. Like I can't even imagine like making that commitment now with my growing kids and my soon-to-be wife at home. Like it puts it even more into perspective for me.
Yeah, and I mean he told this unbelievable story too, and I don't know if he wants me to get into the whole thing, but he had this vision of him, these flames behind him, projecting his shadow onto a wall, and it was like a PTSD story, kind of breaking down, what can happen with PTSD, and he's like, I knew that I had nuked my entire life, and all I could see was my shadow from the flames, like Nero at in Rome or whatever, and I was like, oh, this dude means every damn word he is saying, and cannabis is a fucking medicine.
No doubt, bud.
Big time. And then, so that's the first thing. The second thing, we can maybe play a little bit of the interview, maybe play the voice messages from our fans real quick, give them the voice messages.
Why don't we do that on the other side of the break? We're about an hour in.
Well, I was going to say do it first. So you want to have this? You want to do this
well,
right now?
I figured maybe
you want
they'd
to
hang
do
through the
this
break
right
to
now?
hear their voicemails.
47 minutes.
That's not a bad idea. I'll concede. I'll concede to that. But you want to jump to break now? Because my thing, it's the biggest thing that has ever happened to me in cannabis. It's the big, and I have had unbelievable moments with all of you people in the cannabis world. But the thing that has happened recently with the family we've met is the most tremendous thing that since the veterans in Project for 22, since it's had such a, there it is, bud.
Yep.
So we'll get to that, maybe give them some commercials.
I've got after you give that story, I've got my favorite, I mean, I have, it's a tough Mount Rushmore of favorite psychedelic moments.
I know.
I won't actually, I mean, I could go into some of the profound things I've seen in the psychedelic space, but there were actually some things that were discovered because we are who we are and because this group has made us who we are, that rounded out a fucking real big 2019 for me as far as my psyche goes, you know, and as far as my drive goes and my zest for life. I talk about it on my videos, like, you know, like live with the zest and fervor that only a sophisticated Hoosier can. That is because I have, like, there was a validation that took place last year. We'll talk about that after you give your favorite cannabis memory. Let's go to the first commercial break, Mike. Kill our mics. And guys, on the other side of the break, we'll go to voicemails.
We got more good stuff.
We got some voicemails from you guys. We got some videos.
Get to know Steve.
Get to know Steve. We got those stories hanging out. We'll go into Get to Know Steve after we tell our little memories there. We're gonna hang this thing out there. You guys tell us what you think of it all.
Tell us your favorite moments too. We'll read them.
While you're at it, we'll read them live on air. Mike, bring us to commercial, brother.
James Carlton Insurance 314-961-4800. Handsome, amazing, astonishing, astounding, fabulous, incredible, fantastical, phenomenal, prodigious, stupendous, unbelievable, wondrous, divine, fantastical. No, seriously, he's fantastical. You got a house, go on and get it insured. You got a car, you gotta get it insured. You got a life, go on and get it insured. James Carlton Insurance.net. Fantastic. Stupendous.
you take our insurance and are you cannabis friendly? And they all said no. And then at that last phone call, that 8th phone call, I was like, do you know anybody that is? I'm desperate. I've called 7 other people. You're my 8th phone call. At this point, I'm crying my eyes out. And this lady just felt bad for me and said, hold on, let me call you back in a few minutes. And they called me back and they said that they would take him, but under a certain amount of conditions. And the main condition was that if they felt that cannabis was not working for him, then they would take him from us and put him in and Child Protective Services, and then they would take the other 2 kids too. Because they were both underage.
Then
and we would be charged with child endangerment.
So they'd go to federal prison.
Yeah, we would go to federal prison. So we said, bring it on.
Come to Privilege, I got good fries.
This is one of the best Cubans. I try a Cuban everywhere I go. And this is one of the best damn Cubans I've ever had. And we've got a little white cheddar mac here with a little cracker mac. Life-changing, incendiary.
Everywhere I go, I try the Cuban. This time I didn't. I got the grilled cheese bacon burger.
Look at that thing.
With put some pepper jack on there, some jalapenos. And we got some crinkle fries. And all I can say is, oh baby, grow baby.
As you can see, this was once a delicious plate of coconut scrimps, and I devoured it. And if I had to say, if I had to give a review real quick, I'd say it's an orgasmic feast of the senses.
And I love meat.
Watching my daughter fight for her life and seeing her, we were her only advocates, and I feel so much better knowing that I am exhausting all efforts.
Hey guys, welcome to... And we're back. Saw a little bit of John Matthews' interview, and I alluded to a little bit of that before we went to break. And thank you to all of our sponsors for making this shit happen. Sweetleaf, we've given over $2,000. $1,500 of that went to Aubrey Strong.
We did. I'll tell you what, keep talking, Steve.
And the Aubrey Strong and meeting the Matthews family is another monumental moment in my life, just like meeting Chance and the Hamilton family. They've forever left an impact on me. I didn't even get to meet Chance in real life, and the kid, I think about him all the time. Aubrey, this little girl, she reminds me of little Ivan. The shit she has to go through because she has medulloblastoma, and we are actively seeing cannabis oil shrink the tumors. What the parents have been through, what they continue to go through to be when he went to MoCan BizCon and saw Aiden's Alliance and saw help me out. Who's always was Aiden's Alliance? Zachary, the other little kid.
Had the rails.
Rails, yes, Rails. Being surrounded by them, being surrounded by Canna Moms, being surrounded by all of these people, Josh Loftus, like all of Jennifer Barra, like they're all about the fucking patience, man. At its core, they don't care. Yeah, license. Yeah, I get it. We're gonna get patience of medicine though, so keep doing what you're doing, and I'm gonna be right there with you, behind you.
We're gonna
in
connect.
front of you.
We're gonna connect the dots for you so that you can get the help that you need.
And to see the Matthews family create that support system in a matter of hours, and him seeing his cousin over at Camp Cannabis, oh my God!
Brandon Dunn came up to me, and he shook my hand with tears in his eyes, just hugging me. He goes, "This is my cousin." And I had no idea. He goes, I am so grateful to you guys for bringing them into the fold. For me, he goes,
when they saw each other, it was fucking magic.
It was magic.
It was magic, dude. So that has been because it's something that even people, I still have a couple people in my family who are on the I'm not quite sure it's medicine train. Fine, legalize it, but are we legalize it so people can get high?
Sure.
Yeah.
Sure.
But also, we're actively seeing it shrink.
The average person who is even just kind of okay with cannabis use because they know it doesn't present any real dangers, especially not more so than alcohol, they have no idea what it's like to be on a fecal oil protocol, a cancer protocol, trying to eat a gram of RSO a day, of fecal oil a day is absolutely,
that's crazy, a task. Like Craig Morton.
That's a task.
Meeting that guy too has been one of the greatest things ever.
In and of itself,
it is.
To try and do that.
It certainly is.
And so like there is definitely this balance where you're trying to figure how to explain to these people that, do you understand the pharmaceuticals that they're putting people on and children on?
You don't.
So yes, this protocol is an extreme amount of cannabis, but that's what it takes to cause apoptosis in cancer cells. And then you see their eyes cross because they haven't really thought that deep into it. They didn't know.
Suicide. I didn't know that's what that was. I had to look that up before. Maybe this guy does know a thing or two about cannabis. Then you start talking about the endocannabinoid system, and there are doctors who are like,
less than 8% of medical schools were taught the endocannabinoid system.
I gotta look that up real quick.
They may have mentioned it in passing, but nobody covered it.
No, I agree.
And so we're getting there. We're getting there as more and more states go legal, as more and more research is done. And then we see Dr. Sue Sisley talk, and it's heartbreaking because the government is finding a way to circumvent good science, good information, to ultimately sabotage results at a federal level. She's getting absolute garbage, dog shit garbage with no trichomes on it, no kind of medicine in it, just pulverized.
Pulverized,
it's the
so
worst,
she can't test
so she
it anymore.
can't test it anymore
because she
it's
had
all
questions about giving it to veterans.
So
for
then
a
they
study.
concede. Then they concede that there is better weed that we can be using. They allow it, but they haven't given anybody license to produce
she won
it.
her case, but we're not going to give licenses out.
So,
that could be years. Let's talk about
still
Bocan BizCon. Let's stay on that because there were some magical moments. The Matthews, Sue Sisley, that was the moment her study came out, the results, and she goes, "You guys are not going to like it because it didn't work
scientifically." But I owe it to you. I owe it to the community first, so that you have the information, so that when someone points to these studies and how they failed, you can explain it in depth. And she was succinct, and she laid it out in slides, and it is heartbreaking because she was put in a position as a doctor, whether or not to give veterans who she knew needed this help, to give them trash medicine that was testing high in mold content. Like none of this stuff would pass in any legal state, in any medical state, to be sold over the counter. No, they would never meet the regulations. But what the government is forcing her to use is just absolute fucking garbage.
It made her have to question even giving it.
That's what I'm saying. Them. And then you blow up your study.
Unbelievable.
So to have to play by these stupid rules in a fixed game, like.
And it's Arizona State or University of Arizona.
She's Arizona Scottsdale. Yeah.
Scottsdale, yeah. And you can go to a guy who's out in the parking lot who probably has better weed that they could test. And the reason she even got into it was veterans saying, cannabis is helping me. Right. I don't know if you doctors know this, but it's helping me. And other doctors are like, cool, you smoke weed, I got to put that on form. She was the only person to go, tell me more.
Tell me how it's helping.
I don't really know much about cannabis. Help me out with this plant. What's it doing for you? Oh, it's helping you sleep. Oh, it's helping you They said the best thing is it puts a kind of a green lens over everything, and you can kind of deal with the shit that was making you. That's where I wanted to bring you into the fold too at the beginning, is like, help me learn about psychedelics, because I am a big believer in cannabis as a medicine for physical things. I think it helps a lot with that. But mental things, I think a lot of mental things go a bit deeper than cannabis can. I think cannabis can help you with them, no doubt. But I think when you're going for a cosmic shift,
A rewiring.
yes,
You know,
and we're learning that is in fact
happening.
The actual brain scans are showing that is what is happening. There is a rewiring going on in there. So to bring those two worlds together has been phenomenal. And then to hear Kyle Turley.
No doubt. And Grant Wistrom, two guys that we looked up to as St. Louis athletes. You know, I mean, Grant Wistrom is an all-Missouri boy.
Yeah.
Like, other than the fact that he went and played for the Cornhuskers. But, you know, hey, that's fine, whatever. The guy's a champion, though, through and through.
You got your mic on right now?
No, but you said they can hear me, can't they?
Okay, yeah, they can hear you. All right, read some comments.
So Brian, so proud of you guys and the work you do. Totally thought that
Thanks,
both
Brian.
of you would be laying in a gutter by now.
Yep, totally.
Maybe dancing in a gay bar, drinks and twinks.
I still
Way
have to
steer
do
the
it.
ship the right way. Love you, boys.
Love you too, Brian, man. He's been a huge part of
Don't
this.
worry, Brian. I'm not here.
Yeah, no one knows. Mike, you haven't been here that long,
They were
dude.
talking about Sue Sisley earlier and give her praise. So we got cannabis helps me manage anxiety involved with asthma attacks.
No doubt.
Damn.
I
And that's a
get that.
wild thing that people would
is
be like,
crazy.
I
you
get
know.
that.
Yeah.
Totally. That hits home.
Josh Loftus replying to Craig Morton, have we got a story for you? Okay. Tiffany Jones playing Missy Bliss, hashtag girl crush.
oh, here we go. That's
right,
getting
now
good.
we're
That's
getting
good. Now we're getting into the good stuff. Yeah, so those were some of the best. Kyle Turley talking about St. Louis being ground zero for his head injuries, and then figuring out how cannabis can help alleviate some of the craziness that the NFL. Grant Wistrom said he had to go to a hotel the day before a game, the night and day before a game, to work himself up into a frenzy so his family didn't have to be around that.
Sure. I mean, you're playing a collision sport with the most premier athletes in the world, where size and speed reign supreme, and the only thing that gives you an edge is your attitude. And so, like, that's a real.
And he was good.
And listen, very few guys get to that level without that killer in them. And so, like, they're entering a gladiatorial arena that takes getting into a headspace. And he said it wasn't until he found cannabis could he get out of it. It had to take. It took so much time. He couldn't go home and from being a warrior and have no time in between to having to be husband, dad, whatever.
Yeah, his kids come up to you and be like, "Hey, daddy," you're like,
"Whoa, chop block!"
Exactly.
Cut the knees.
Exactly.
That was awesome though. Seeing those two, they were, and like for Grant to be like, "Hey, come down and talk to me."
Dana, the CrossFit
roars, but no.
We're assholes. We're
No. Well, I mean, to be fair, two of them. Huh?
Danny was her first name.
Yeah, but what was her?
Oh no,
I
Mike!
didn't get it on any of the equipment. I made sure.
Mike just spilled water in the studio, guys.
Jesus.
Through it's on the wires. We're good.
Hey, real quick, this is a perfect time to just segue. We are still giving this away. Next week, we'll give this away. We're going through all of the people that subscribe to Mycelial Media.
Get that thing out of here, Mike.
Mycelial Media on YouTube. You can win a kind pen. We got a bottle of native hemp CBD we'll send with it.
I'll do this
as
one.
well as a Chillum. So all you got to do is subscribe to Mycelial Media on YouTube. Hit that little bell so you get a reminder when we go live. There you go. You got it. And there you go. You got a little Chillum that we're giving away too. So we got Chillum, kind pen, native hemp extract. All you got to do is subscribe to Mycelial Media on YouTube. And so that was a nice little filler while Mike almost sabotaged the entire show.
Wow, that would have been a hell of an anniversary present right there.
And then what was really neat, our friend Cindy Northcutt, we were sitting in the little courtyard of Union Station, and she goes, "Oh, I've been waiting to make this introduction for a very long time. You had run home to grab that jacket because you were going to be hosting the award ceremony,
That was
which
one
you
of my
did a
favorite
very fine
moments, too.
job, sir.
Mimi, that was great.
And while
dude.
you were at home getting ready, I'm out in the courtyard. She introduces me to Max Montrose.
That conversation I walked in on was one of my favorite things.
Max
of all time.
Montrose and I get into the weeds real quick because Max is a genius when it comes to cannabis. He talks about cannabis in a completely different way, but I'll tell you what, that guy has an encyclopedic knowledge of plant medicines, and so he was super excited to sit with me. He became like, he and Missy talked magic. They became best friends. Supposed to be coming to the wedding, you know, like the connection that took place there was amazing, dude. And he made me think about cannabis in a totally different way. His interpreting book is something that anybody that's a cannabis enthusiast should go out there and grab and just learn a little bit about the plant. It's pretty awesome. He gave us that amazing little wheel that showed like different strains and phenotypes, and
yeah.
the concentrate wheel that
Dude,
was like basically it was amazing. We'll do a whole feature on that. I've got it sitting in my computer bag at home.
He's
It
a
is
legit
amazing.
genius when it comes to
He's
that
a genius,
shit, dude.
He's a genius.
And
So
I walked
that
up
was awesome.
on you guys, and he was talking about
Rick
some
Doblin.
Was it? Oh yeah, and that note that he had, but he was also talking about like a banana and like just there was like 3 weird things, and I was like, oh, you guys are gonna be real good friends. I got a show to host though, boys.
Gotta split.
And just all those people that are involved with all of that the community. That's what I love about Missouri with like Ricky Starling and Rachel. The little community that they've built, and Michael,
awesome.
Mo
Michael
Exotic.
Forkworth.
We'll get to that here in a second. Both of them actually, maybe. But they've kept the mantra of the Missouri cannabis community: keep it small, keep your friends close, keep your enemies closer, and grow fucking good dope at home.
No doubt.
And I'm like, I'm with that. I'm with all that.
Let's get as
make
much.
some money.
Let's educate as many people as we can.
Yes.
From as many different outlets as we can.
That is Ricky's
Let's
deal.
connect growers with patients. Let's answer the questions for the home growers as they pop up. Let's have a place where we can brag a little bit about the buds that we're growing at home.
Yes.
Let's have a place where we can share the funny stories about when we ate just a little bit too much cannabis on a baked potato, Rachel.
Well, that's like the Grow Trade Fest people too, like Clayton and Lance and Nate. Like Clayton at Evolution Mag, like what a cool dude to fucking be hanging with.
He's
and
an awesome guy.
That dude is right with
He and I
these
had a
circles.
real deep conversation
Oh,
in Kansas
yeah.
City after the Cannabis Industry Showcase. It's like, hey man, just want to let you know your story, it resonates with me big time.
awesome.
You know, and like we knew right away that we
was
spoke the
awesome.
same language.
Yeah.
You know,
yeah, we got
and
deep.
working with him with the Stay at Home Grow series, I'm bummed about Bo's mic pack, but
How
it
cool
still
is
turned
Bo?
out all right. Bo's great at Grow Active Solutions.
Bo is great.
But that was legitimate information. People were here for it the whole time, learning. Dude, it made me confident. It made me confident that I could
Made me scared
grow
that I was doing the same
hydroponics.
thing.
You know what I
Oh,
mean?
for sure. He made it seem like, okay, here's a slide that you might have seen in, 9th grade science class.
Yep.
Gravity makes water go down,
Yep.
and then pump make water go up. And you're like, oh, fuck, I can grow some pretty dope weed. Michael, too. Like him showing that page and
doubt.
people being willing to be like, oh, my first time growing, does this look okay? I'm like, fuck me, running.
Yeah,
Like,
yes.
yeah, it looks good.
It looks
Yeah,
really
It
good.
looks great. What kind of camera are you using?
No doubt.
So
No doubt.
you can grow. Missourians grow great dope.
That's what our buddy John Hunt said.
John Hunt coined it the terp jungle. Terpenese. He didn't say.
He didn't say
that's
Terpenese.
right.
They don't
did
speak
say
no Terpenese, dude.
Terp jungle, though. He did say that.
It was the Terp Jungle.
Yeah. And those people keeping that vibe alive for the Missouri community from Kansas City to St. Louis. All these weirdos. We're all like, yeah, take care of the people who've been taking care of
it's
people.
great, man,
Take
because
care of
Springfield's
people,
got a
take care of
fucking
people.
real tight little fucking crew down there, and the middle of the state, the lake area, Columbia, the Grow Trade Fest people, that like a lot of those people from the lake,
Amber
in
and her
Kansas City,
story.
Jennifer Rouse is running shit, man, and so I cannot wait. Whatever they come up with, whatever the change is, I'm there for it, because that was an opportunity to just sit and get to know one another. And we were like,
For
hey,
sure.
all right, this ain't so bad, right? Like
is great.
this is what it is. Buddy, I had, okay, so you would say Aubrey was the
Yeah.
the best cannabis moment, talking to John, seeing that we're,
Seeing that network form, that family.
it's amazing. You talk about the network. I had a big year in consciousness expansion in 2019.
Settling in.
I had a bunch of I had a bunch of experiences where I definitely gained some perspective. Hard experience, some of the most challenging, for sure. But then also some of the most rewarding. And there were a few things that happened where simply because we put ourselves in the position for them to happen, they happened. Like the universe, the multiverse showed favor. We decided to take a trip. We grabbed our buddy Tony Elkin. We piled him in a car. We drove to Michigan. Great little road trip, buddy. Stories. We had, what did we do? We hey, pick out a song with your favorite guitar riff. We started that on a Kansas City trip, but then we took that into the Michigan trip.
That's cool.
And
great drum solo.
It was awesome.
Great
Yeah, what's your
piano.
best drum solo?
Yeah.
All right, lyrics this
Yeah.
time. So we're doing that.
That was cool.
We're
Ann Arbor, A2.
we start to have some deeper conversations. We get up there. We go to the University of Michigan. I've never been to the University of Michigan. Never seen the big house. I was pretty juiced about all of it, They have a Center for Consciousness Science. And this is where
Big
we
old
go.
building
This
on
is where
campus,
we
too.
go, man. It's like this old, the auditorium was amazing. It's this,
And owls everywhere.
basically the Center for Psychology and Brain Medicine. And it's unbelievable. And George Mashore, who is the head of the department there, who runs the Center for Consciousness Science, is putting this thing on with a bunch of his grad students. And they pulled the who's who of psychedelic researchers into a day-long symposium. And just because of what it was, I happened to check Shane Moss, who had been on the show twice before. A couple of my real favorite Hoosier Sophisticate memories. I reach out, we reach out to him in email. Seth reached out to him once. I reached out to him another time. He was cool. I actually messaged him on Facebook. He got back to us. That's when we started the email deal. And I was like, holy shit, Shane Moss is going to be on our show. And I was already a pretty big fan.
Juiced about that.
Pretty big fan. So I had seen that he had a show in Ann Arbor the day that we were going to be
it
there,
wasn't
but
on any of the social media.
I couldn't click the link to buy tickets.
Yeah.
He just said he was going to be there, and that's what he thought it was going to be. And it turned out they just had him out there to do a podcast with all of these different researchers, which was great, and it was fun. And the whole day, we learned a lot. We talked about last week.
Craig got a
Katanserin.
standing ovation. Okay, folks,
Well, and
a company's going to make $1 trillion.
MindMed just came out, and so
But he got a good 30-second standing ovation.
I don't know. But it
was
was
blacked out.
So it was pretty cool. I got in line to get some grub. You're like, I'm hanging back. I'm talking to Ricky Dobbs.
I'm just going to grab him.
I'm going to grab him. So I'm like, okay, cool, man. But I'm like 3 people back. I've been waiting for 30 minutes. I'm going to eat something.
Out the front door.
I just about I go and sit in the corner. I can't eat my food fast enough. I get back into the auditorium to see Steve is next in line to talk to Rick Doblin. There's a gal there telling a really hard
But I'm
story.
looking at
Rick
Craig,
is
I'm
making
like-
all the time for it. I come up. Steve introduces
she's
himself.
telling a hard story.
A hard story. Steve comes up, introduces himself. This is my buddy. Rick falls in love with the idea of these guys that are on AM conservative talk and gospel radio talking about psychedelics and cannabis.
He just wanted to
in
keep
the middle of
talking
the
to us.
programming. He thought it was really cool. And then we tell him we're from St. Louis, and he's like, well, I'm going to be in St. Louis at the beginning of November for the Drug Policy Alliance convention. It's a convention that happens every 2 years in a city somewhere in the world. Next one's in Puerto Rico. And so I'm like, wait, what? I didn't even hear about this thing going on. Okay, so that's fine. Then we go back. We decide we got a podcast. We got to get this down. And we have a great little talk. We end up going to a movie that they were featuring called Magic Medicine, talking about psilocybin. It's done by Dr. Robin Carhart Harris
And
at
we
Imperial
thought we
College
had
of
the
London.
jackpot.
We went.
We
That
talked
was.
to Doblin.
We got to
We
talk
talked
to
to Doblin.
Doblin.
He
You
said
got
he's
a
gonna
you
be
got a
up.
selfie with Shane. You saw Shane at
Saw
the.
him
You saw
early, yep.
Shane early on because I was up in the. Steve was out in
I'm
the
just lurking.
overflow room. Okay.
I
I
can't
was up
sit
in the
still too
auditorium and I am locked into this talk.
It was cool to see
And I
Craig
hear
in
the
his
I hear
element.
the deer. I hear the door open and I look down and I'm pretty sure from the top down view it's Shane Moss. So I pick up my phone and I'm texting Steve. I'm like, hey. Shane's coming out the main doors. He's like, all right, I'm in the hallway. I'm going to flag him down. So he gets there, and like Steve sends. Next thing I know, I'm getting a text. It's Steve and Shane. And Shane's like,
I know.
and Steve's like, and so I'm like, fuck yeah, nice hit, bud. Okay, cool. I'm into this talk. I'm fucking juiced about it. We go.
Craig's
see
giving
this-
multi-million-dollar companies phenomenal ideas all day.
Yeah. Well, couldn't you do this?
What
What
that guy say?
that? And they're like, hey, write that shit down.
That guy saying
Write that shit down. And so anyway, we're hanging out for that. Magic Medicine's great. I see a silhouette of a guy that's 6'4", 6'5",
Yeah, 'cause he wasn't
kind of
there.
grunged out. I'm like, oh, I think, because it's dark in the theater and you only have the light, so I'm only seeing the shadow. And I'm like, that's probably Shane. Right as the movie's ending, sure as shit, he's like 3 people in front of me. This gal has got him pinned, and he's just he's like, I just have to go to the bathroom. And Steve was like, I'm on it. She still got him pinned. So Steve like goes into the bathroom.
I can get in there.
And if you want to tell what happened in the bathroom?
So in the bathroom, I used to listen to his podcast with this comedian, Dave Waite. And
The Riff Board.
Called The Riff Board. It might be harder to find now. I can only find certain episodes because they were just riffing for like 15, 20 minutes an episode. And they always had 2 or 3 jokes that were consistent. One was the squeege. We're like, hey, this is the morning radio. We're going to go check it out with the squeege. Arby's squeege, how's it going? Good, man at Arby's.
Just here at Arby's.
Oh, squeege, bringing the heat in the mornings on 92.7 FM. And I was like, this is what I would do on the radio for an hour if they just let me have
No
to
doubt.
change the station back. I would just riff like that. And then Shane would always do this bit where he was either answering the phone as a concierge or he was working at a gas station, but the joke was always like, oh, hey, no, it didn't even have to be knocking.
That's true.
But it was just anything. And he'd be like, oh, because he called him on the phone. He's like, oh, what is there to do in Louisville? And he's like, oh, you can check out, the Kentucky Derby or whatever, or you can check out this other thing. And he's like, oh, what's another thing? What's another thing I can check out? It's my dick.
It's my dick.
And so he always did that. So I went in the bathroom and I was peeing next to him. I'm like, and I had already said something to him, what's up? And I was like, funny seeing you here, man. And he's like, yeah, cool. And I'm like, it's the squeege checking in at the urinal. It was like, whatever. And he's like, dude, you know the squeege? Like, I can tell at that moment, he's like, okay, this guy is a fan. He knows the old cuts. And that's like episode 9.
Yeah,
of,
it's going way back.
Yeah. And
Nobody
it's like,
listened to the Riff Board.
Thank
Dave
you.
Waite and Shane Moss listened to the
hilarious,
Riff Board.
dude.
It's a good follow, too.
He's so good. I love him. So then he's like, cool. And then we get out of the bathroom and I go, Craig, it's nailed it. Just hit him with the squeege joke. And he goes, you idiot. And I was like, what, dude? I'm living my best life right now. And he goes, you fool. You were in the bathroom with the guy and you didn't choose the it's my dick joke. And I was like, no, Stella. I didn't know. I fucked up.
So from there...
But then I go out on the phone with
So from
Jen.
there, I tell Steve, listen, Chris Timmerman, who is this professor at this fellow at Imperial College of London who's doing
cool
this
as fuck.
DMT research. He, by way of, I think, Argentina.
Yeah.
He's South American, but he's
like Russell Brand, but cool.
Yeah.
I like Russell.
He's a Latin Russell Brand.
Bland. Russell Bland. Got him. Nailed him.
This term is awesome. So he had this whole
was so
talk
cool.
about DMT studies that they're doing at Imperial College, and I had a question that was burning inside of me. I was like, Steve, I'm gonna go over here. I'll catch up with you in a minute. I gotta go talk to this guy and ask him a question.
I called Jen and went outside. And I was like, hey, Jen, living my best life. Did mess this joke up, though. Like, Craig, of course, Craig was like, you
know what would make it better.
Yeah, exactly. I'm like, fuck him. So we're doing our normal thing where I talk shit on her after we hang out for a minute.
Sure,
And I'm like, shit. Yeah. And so we're shooting shit or whatever. And Shane comes up behind me. And I'm like, oh, hey, what's up, Shane? And like kind of see him as he's walking. He's like, hey, we're going to the tequila bar down the street if you guys want to hang out. Me and a couple of the researchers. And I'm like, okay. And I'm keeping the phone here so Jen can hear me. I'm like, okay, Shane Moss, I'm going to go hang with you and my buddies and the researchers at a tequila bar tonight. It's going to be fun. You know what I mean? I'm like, this is really happening right now. And Jenny's like, well, I have a good time. I can't believe that's happening. Awesome. So you and Tony come
Walk out at that point.
And I'm like, guys, you'll never believe it. Shane pretty much invited us to the hang out at the bar, the after party.
You said, hey, Shane Moss just invited
And I
us
know
to come
Craig.
hang out with all of the researchers
And I know
at a
Craig.
tequila bar down the street.
And he goes, Daddy's got a home field advantage, or what'd you say?
Yeah, I said, oh, they're giving me home field advantage
And moving
and pushing the fences in.
Yeah. He skipped down the street because we had talked about optimal places, and we're like, we could invite people to the Mexican place, the other little bar down here, or there's a tequila bar down here that's closest, and we were kind of figuring out where we might possibly go.
Yep.
Maybe follow that, maybe end up at the same place. Those guys,
Maybe.
I don't know.
We'll
I'm
just
a
put
lingerer.
ourselves in a position.
And then we got invited, and then when we went there, it was just us and Shane for a little while. I made a joke. I got
You
him to
had
laugh.
Shane. Listen, guys, I love my partner. I know his kink, right? And we're sitting down in a bar. Shane's got a couple of tequilas in front of him. I'm queued up with some tequila. We're ready.
And Craig, of course, is like, you got that Cabo Wabo 73, kind of knows enough that the guy behind's like, oh, okay. Yeah, exactly.
And
I love that.
So we're about ready to hit this tequila. We do drink these tequilas. I get some more. And Shane's like,
Well, the researchers showed up.
well, a couple of them.
Yeah.
And Shane's like, if there's more people coming, maybe we should move to a table or something. And they're kind of filling out at the bar. It's literally just us and Shane before they come in. This other couple had just left. And they start filling in at the bar. And the one guy goes, well, my girlfriend should be showing up and she'll need a chair. And Steve's like, yeah, I probably got a couple of chicks showing up for me too.
Yeah.
And Shane kind of guffaws
Yeah, he's
at
like,
it.
what?
He's like, okay.
Yeah, that's the
So
one.
he starts laughing, and I don't even have to look at Steve to know that he's hard. I'm just like, he did it. The funny man made the funny man laugh. That's my buddy's kink. He's going to be the funniest guy in the room. So
I enjoyed myself after that.
it goes
evening.
from there. We pile over to the tables.
But then after that, it was literally seeing you in your element, be able to rap with people who do it, with people who live it, dude.
Yeah,
people
for
who
sure.
live it, and to see you slide right in. You know what I mean? Like, that was some of the best shit ever, dude.
So this was this big shift for me, for this show, for me, or for what I thought about what we could do with this show, what we are doing with this show, is all of a sudden, in a day's time, we'd had an opportunity to talk to Rick Doblin, who I've had on this pedestal for the last 7 years, 8 years maybe. And we got to talk to him. I got to ask a question to Katrin Preller from Switzerland, a Swiss scientist,
Yeah, the
about
innovation.
about catancerin, which I'd never heard of until that moment. She explains it. Logically, it makes sense to me. Whatever. Well, we don't know that that's even really a thing until now, 3 days ago.
Remember, I asked a good question at the movie too.
You did. What would you asked it to?
I was like, why don't they do any therapy with the family?
to
And
Alan
did-
Davis from
Yeah.
Ohio State and
Yeah.
Johns Hopkins, and he's awesome.
Yeah.
And he was doing the Q&A.
I didn't get a standing ovation. Nobody.
Well,
was
they
like,
were
good question.
It was a great question.
Yeah.
I'm like-
Because they should.
And when Steve and I would get
Oh,
like
when
great
we get a
question,
good
we're
question, we're like-
fucking elbow bumping, like
Because we rallied a few good ones.
Bunch of good
Yeah,
ones,
I
bud.
know, dude.
Bunch
I
of
was
good
proud
ones.
of us, man.
and yeah, so
banana eating competition.
So we go from there. We're sitting at this table, and two of the presenters that were the grad students that taught us that day that the pineal gland might not be what we think it is, and the fact that more DMT was present in the blood of the animals that didn't have their pineal gland, they had it removed. All of a sudden, they couldn't ascertain where it's being produced, but they could say that it wasn't dependent on the pineal gland. And the more and more I look at it, like that's the whole thing, is like,
Yeah.
now I'm seeing things differently, and I'm like, oh, I don't think it's produced there. I think it's regulated there.
Yeah.
I think the pineal gland is what, ultimately gives enough for you to overcome, any monoamine oxidase, or it just enough, because there's DMT present in so many things, and so many plants, and so many vegetables, so I feel like it's more of a regulator. But them explaining that. So we're sitting across from that guy. And then this morphs into a conversation. Shane's having a conversation right next to me with Chris Timmerman, who I stayed
And some of the
back
stories they're telling each other when they were doing like real life retreats that were also scientific,
Yes.
observed by scientists. And
Yes.
I'm like, Jesus.
It was
Christ.
amazing.
And then your Bell's palsy story, when those people were like, Wait, what happened? Like they were like, hold on here,
That was the
that's
deal.
their life is to figure that shit
So
out.
the life-changing, perspective-changing moment that took place was they were as interested in me as I was in them.
Yeah.
And for no other reason than we were all searching for the same answers.
Because they're like, you're
they
dads?
They had some
Which
better
maybe they
tools.
thought that for a different reason. Remember,
They
they're
had
like,
some
you guys
be-
are dads?
Totally.
Like, and you guys are putting
is what we're
out.
doing. Yep.
Like, what? Like, you guys should be in
And dude,
New
like some
Balance
of the
mowing
brightest
grass, and I'm
people
like,
in the
I
world.
am.
Yeah, some of the fucking brightest people in the world. And then being
Yes.
able to share my experience with Shane. To then Shane,
Sharing
to then
your
these
experience
people
with us.
just peeling off. The grad students start peeling off, and then it's just the vagabonds staying in Airbnbs, giving the people the goods. No, we're just a couple of trade guys making goofs. We're making goofs and talking drugs, man.
I know, dude.
And all of a sudden, like he's like, I was like, where are you staying? He's like, my Airbnb. I was like, ours is like 8 minutes away, but it's cool, He's like, really? You guys got a couch? And we're like, you can have my bed, bud. I'll sleep on the floor.
That was great. You guys arguing about it?
Yeah. So Shane Moss, this guy that I do like. Idolize isn't the right word, but admire is definitely what it is.
Sure.
I've listened to, and that's a weird dynamic too. Like
Yeah.
meeting someone who you've listened to hundreds of hours of their thoughts, of their monologues, of conversations with other people. I might know a little bit more about it. So to not come across as like obsessed
guy.
fan and be a buddy, because all I want to do is be your buddy, man. You're a cool dude. I dig the way you think. And he comes over and he's going to play us some tunes. And the first thing he does is he puts on Spangle. And Steve goes, oh, fuck, there's two of you?
No.
So it was amazing, right?
That
Like it was
was
this
cool.
great
That
fucking
was
experience.
cool.
And then on this whole drive home, we are just these creative fucking nut jobs in a car on this ride, riding this high of being validated by people that I don't know that we sought validation from. We just sought information from, and they were like, no, you're just as an important part of this as we are. And that's what this community's about. And
That's what
building
they
this
told us
community
to
is
do.
like Rick Dalman said, the most important thing that we can do is build a community that's having this conversation. And then for those of us who have positive experiences and are living good lives, right? And are fitting into the machine however we do, without ruffling too many feathers. Come out of the psychedelic closet. Tell your positive experience. These are the things that change people's minds. More people have experience with cannabis to where they're like, oh yeah, I did it once. I giggled, I ate some food. Hey, it's not so bad. I'll vote for it. Well, in this regard, like, tell them like, hey, it gave you faith again. Yeah. I lost God. It gave me faith again. I don't know in what I like in something I can only classify as God because it's bigger than me. And like that's this conversation that we're having. Dr. Danny Nemu, Reverend Danny Nemu came on the show. Seth booked him. Guy talks about psychedelics in the Bible. And he's like, I'm not talking about allegory. I'm talking about them literally talking about psychedelics. And he gives this talk on how frankincense is a psychedelic and myrrh is a psychedelic. And he's telling all these stories about how they were prevalent throughout all of these teachings that we've all been taught so thoroughly. And they're like, yeah, they didn't hide it. They're saying
oil.
they're saying right here, the anointing oil has cannabis in it. Like everybody, they said it. For him to come on and tell his story and weave it with the magic that he believes in and that he is doing. Psychedelics, the psychedelic conversation is we were talking about each of our podcasts and how I'm honored for someone to tell me their experience, even their scary one, because if someone were to tell me their scary experience, I feel like let's explore on that a little bit. Like where were you at that point in your life where like what was it that scared you and what was uncomfortable about it? And do you think if you were presented with it again, would you stand up to it? Or would you just want it to go? Would you try and run from it? Would you try and hide from it? To these other conversations where people are like, no, man, I saw God or some kind of reflection of God, or I saw crazy fucking aliens. Tell me about that.
Or your version of the word God, what you thought God meant. That is one of the biggest shifts in mine. I realize that we're just going, to name shit.
Yeah.
When God, I took this vast expanse thought about God that Oh, God's just the name for every little bit of everything ever.
We got
And it's
all
like,
kinds of stuff
woo.
going on here.
Okay.
So
Read
going
us
back,
some
the
shit.
hydroponic show was great. Didn't let you slow down a beat. Rachel Marie went for the potato again, just ate way less the second time. Tiffany and your wife think they can grow hydroponics.
Oh, yeah.
Josh says, who, that Hunt guy? Take care of people who take care of people. Terps and perps, grimy Gatsby, says Craig Morton. Tiffany Joe says, you hear that? He called us weirdo. My God, I'm crazy about that, man. I'm so fucking proud of you, Craig. That's from my betrothed. That's very nice, baby. Thank you. I love you.
If that was from Jen, I'd be a little upset.
Dennis Nenger says, that cleanse where you almost shit your pants and live streamed it was life-changing.
That was awesome when you almost pooped in the car. I love your little moments of road rage too. Or my favorite moment from Craig's lives in the morning, which you've been doing more, I love it, is when you showed up to work and you're like, God dang it, was there a meeting
I
today?
go, fuck me. We got a meeting this morning.
It was so good because it was.
And I was 20 minutes
just
late.
A perfect
I was 20
reaction.
minutes late, and they're all right inside
We've
the
all
door.
been there. We've
Oh,
all-
fuck. I knew it.
Mike's
John
had
Madden
a
said,
couple
"What's up,
good
guys?"
lives, too.
Mike's had some great lives.
That one of him and his wife, I didn't know if I should click on it. If it was gonna, like, when JoJo and him
Oh,
were
that was-
dancing,
that
I
was
was like,
last
I don't know
week or a
if I-
week and a
yeah,
half
that was
ago?
the reason why I'm like, what's Mike trying to do to me right now? Get me in trouble here? He's gonna whip his dick out or something, dude. This is gonna be crazy. And he had a challenge, and he's also working on a challenge for the prom, which we're gonna have to push back prom.
We're
but he's
pushing
got
back prom
real
just a little bit
nice
until St. Louis
idea.
gets their shit together.
So we'll tease that a little bit, but yeah, he's got.
I
some
miss
ideas
Craig
cooking up.
moments. I haven't experienced the Godhead, but I discovered much more than what appears to be and myself. Will O'Donnell says, I had an experience I need to talk about, Craig. Come on the podcast, Will O'Donnell.
Yeah.
Anointing oil was 40% cannabis. Just like the ovaries produce estrogen, but it's regulated by the pituitary. That's right, babe. See, we're building science here.
Yeah,
Pineal gland. There you go. Banana eating competition. That's a real deal. That happened.
It happened. Change the station.
So
one in one
listen,
night.
I think this show's just gonna run late, bud. I think we're just gonna have.
How long have we been doing
We're
it?
an hour and a half in. We haven't gotten to the voicemails yet.
Jesus Christ! I feel okay. All right, let's hit him with the voicemails.
All right, guys. We asked you to, hey, check in. Happy anniversary, whatever. Happy birthday. So we got some videos that were sent to us. It's called Vids and Voicemails. We got some videos that were sent to us, and we got some voicemails that were sent to us. So let's go to our peeps. Mike, go ahead and kill the mic.
Hoosier Sophisticate. Hello and congratulations. It's your boy, comedian Will O'Donnell. I want to congratulate you for 2 years of Hoosier Sophisticate. You guys should be very proud. You've created something very cool and unique, and you're doing great work. I love you guys, and take care, and I hope to see you in person very soon. God bless.
Happy 2 years, you two. You're my heroes.
When I grow up, I want to be just like you.
Congratulations, Hoosiers, on 2 years. We love y'all so much. Oh, and happy birthday, Chris Wolfenbarger. We love you too.
Hello? Hello? Anybody there? Hello? Greg? Still? I was trying to call about the 2-year anniversary show. It's Bigfoot Willie Jr. Listen, I was just calling to let you know that my favorite moment of your show in the last 2 years is when I was on it. All right. Well, I hope you're all well, and let me know if you see Bigfoot. All right. Bye.
Congrats on 2 years, guys, and thanks for making me squirt a load every Monday night.
Happy anniversary! So, it's been 2 years. I just wanted to tell you guys how proud I am of both of you, and I hope you take a moment to sit back and reflect. I know that Craig oftentimes has to be reminded of how much you two have been able to accomplish in just a very short period of time, but I hope you really get to just bask in all of the glory that is this Hoosier community and, you know, our Canna fam and all of the good work that y'all are doing. So congratulations on 2 years. I'm looking forward to spending the rest of my life just playing a supportive role to this and enjoying all of the, you know, all the bennies. Thanks, guys. Happy anniversary.
Hey, Stephen Craig, it's me, Mo Exotic. That bitch Carol Baskin got in my garden. She stole my stuff, man. Stole my mids. That's alright. I gonna grow some more. I just want to call and congratulate you guys on 2 years. I've been watching your show. You look kind of hot, if you know what I mean. You like tigers and guns? We'll see ya.
You like tigers and guns? We'll see ya.
We'll see ya. Mo Exotic. I love
was
that
so
dude.
good.
Got to
Thank
meet
you.
him at Grow Trade Fest. Got
He's
to
so
like
cool.
hang with him. That
So
whole
cool.
little crew that came together there was so much fun.
One of my favorite crews. Amber and her family have had some of the most impactful moments in
Nolan
Missouri
went big
cannabis.
viral, man. Nolan, Nolan's
Nolan's
tribe,
Tribe of
Cannabis
Warriors.
Warriors. You know, Nolan made national news. He was shared on every outlet, put things on the map, and I also think it started. I mean,
He put it on the map.
We had a couple.
Put it on the news.
He put it
He
on the news.
fucking put it.
Nolan
he's my
put it
hero.
on the news.
He is my legitimate hero. He's Ivan's hero too. He put the shit on the news and on the map because that was huge. And Amber having to be the person to kind of, you know, still be here to go through all that.
No doubt.
The weight that she carries and carries well, like that whole group down there, buddy. You're absolutely right, man. They fucking carry the torch and they carry it well, dude.
Thank you guys for your kind words, for checking into us, letting us know how much you love us. We love it.
Thank you guys too.
For real.
Thank
Like
you
this whole
guys
thing is
so
great.
much,
We talked
dude.
about James Carlton. We talked about Lifetime Roofing. They're going to give my cousin a bid on her siding. Yeah, man, I'm fucking juiced about it. Truman's and Soulard. We can't wait to get back out there, do a little dating game.
Oh, it's gonna be amazing.
Have a good old time. Spanish Society, we're going to have a little Hoosier prom. It's going to be awesome. Guys, we're going to have to push the date back, but it's going to be great. Just keep your ears peeled.
Yeah.
You know, and then Sweetleaf, man. Sweetleaf they're the ones that are helping us give away. We have 2 new pieces. You want me to grab them? We have 2 new pieces that we haven't come up
You can
with.
keep talking too.
We haven't come up with what the giveaway is going to be yet. But you know, we're going to give away that Kind Pen, also from Sweetleaf. We're going to give away the Kind Pen, and we're going to give away the Chillum. We're going to give the native hemp extract. Our buddy Dennison's growing some of the. I know, I saw that. Thank you. Growing some of the finest hemp in all the land and making the best extract out of it.
What does this guy do?
But check this out, man. This little piece here is awesome. So that's one of them. It's got this
I love that
amazing
thing.
little Fibonacci spiral in the middle of it, blown into it. These are, I think these were blown by Brian Clark.
Yeah.
And this one's got a cannabis leaf that's blown into it. And they're 2 really cool pieces. So we're going to do probably another giveaway, try and raise some money for some charity. We're going to ask you guys maybe, you know, who's the deserving one this go around. You know, maybe we do one for Nolan's tribe, talking about Nolan. We'll do one of these for Nolan's tribe for sure. They're a fledgling nonprofit, a new nonprofit, doing good work. So
Yeah, I love those people, man.
Sweetleaf made the studio
Sweetleaf
happen.
Jason at Sweetleaf is the most caring person around.
He's just a darling.
And you're like, you don't really fit the mold of the person who would be a 95-year-old woman who kind of reminds me of my grandma Yaya. Just the love that they're just oozing out.
No doubt.
You're kind of a hardcore rocker dude who's like super cool, blows glass, but legitimately cares about people.
He's just trying to help people. Take
He's
care
like,
of our
what do
people."
I have that can help raise money or awareness for someone? Like if we didn't leave his shop, he would give us one of everything. You're like, you think you can raise some
He
money
tried to
with
give
this?
us a key.
That was
Steve.
weird, dude. I was like, I don't want the responsibility of this place. But people like that have
Our
supported
sponsors
us.
are awesome, man. Our group is
amazing.
awesome. And I'll tell you what, so like a lot of this, you know, you and I, we wax nostalgic. We have plans we have a screenplay that we want to put out there. And I
that's
feel
gonna
like
be
we
awesome.
kind of, today was kind of the first real step we took towards
Totally.
kind of storyboarding it. So it was really cool because Steve took me to his old neighborhood this morning, and I took him to mine.
Really cool.
And so next week, you guys will get a look in the life of me as a kid in my neighborhood. But today, we want to let you guys get to know your Hoosiers a little bit better. This is the beginning. This is Steve's origin story.
This is my origin story. This is my old neighborhood, the St. Boniface Parish area.
The Patch.
The Patch, baby. We didn't call it that.
No,
back then. We were just like at the end of 3.
South Broadway, baby.
We didn't even call it that. We called it...
Because South Broadway is different.
Yeah.
That's a different,
St. Andrews is a little closer there. We didn't really have a name for it. The St. Boniface area is what we called it.
No doubt.
You know what I
Yeah,
mean?
we were all known
that
by the
was those
parish.
3 little streets. Because what's weird looking at it on a map now, how sectioned off we were by like big buildings or big streets.
Yeah,
you know,
for sure.
that kind of... Like we talked about it today. It's amazing what a weird little world South City had built with its parishes.
So yeah, I don't think a lot of people outside of the St. Louis, I don't think they can really even wrap their heads around. People are always like, "What's weird to ask about schools?" Well, actually, if you're like from like the neighborhood, like if you're hanging out with South City kids, you don't ask what high school you went to.
Yeah.
Like we want to know what grade school you went to because that is your literal what part of this little flat piece of land here. What corner of that was yours? And that was all determined by these Catholic churches that were on the corners of them. So, of course, I knew where St. Boniface was. Went to St. Boniface to play basketball probably once or twice. But I didn't know like the neighborhood that made it up and where you grew up. So I was really happy to be there with you this morning. Mike,
I didn't get to edit it all down. So
That's
it's
all
a
right.
little loose
Guys,
editing.
just take a little look into
So
the...
fuck you, first and foremost, because that's the neighborhood I'm from. I'm from fuck you neighborhood, baby. No, but it was really cool getting to show you mine and getting to see yours. I can't wait to see yours next week because, dude, that was so... the way you love your home.
Oh, dude, I love it.
Getting to see it was really neat.
It's awesome.
Mike, why don't you go ahead and end with it, buddy?
Hey, Steve-O.
Yeah, buddy.
What is this place to you, bud?
This is it. Take a little peek around because this is... I used to play in this parking lot right in this area here. It's not as glamorous as it looks. Wasn't as glamorous. Right, if you come down this way a little bit too, you can see the edge of this blacktop. And we were talking about our old buddy Chad, Wayne Wanker, some of those guys. If we weren't playing at Carondelet, we would sometimes come down here until they put in the little parking blockades in there. But that was fresh black top back in the day, baby. Doesn't get much more.
That's where you want to play some hockey. That's where you want to play some street hockey.
No doubt. When you're
which was really the game of the South Side.
I think so.
You know, like we played fuzzball.
We
played
wanted to be
washers,
Blues.
But all of us, even me, not a big hockey guy. I loved playing hockey, man. It was my favorite game to play. We played in the streets, and I think that was. Each sport brought you closer to a different group of kids at a different school.
Oh, no doubt. We'd all congregate. All right, so you see the train tracks here, right? All right, well, my house, we'd come down here a little bit. We'd go underneath. Stacked is over in that direction. If you take a peek down this way, you'll see Stacked is down this road. The Perennial is down this way if you keep going down this direction. Well, we would ride our bikes around here. None of that shit was here then. Me and my sister are riding our bikes right through here, okay? So we come through and there's like a chop shop over here. I'm pretty sure it's fucking some scandalous shit going on at this place at the right. You can see all the fucking shit. But then we have Monsanto and all this shit over here. Great, wonderful thing to be sleeping in the presence of. My house is right on the other side here. So my sister's cruising, I cruise. Well, you're supposed to take train tracks like this, right, Craig? And you want to come in at an angle like this.
No
so
doubt.
you're going across them. Come check like how this is. You know, there's a nice little gap here.
There's a pretty fair gap there.
My sister's cruising in her 10-speed, and she goes through here, and her bike gets slotted right in here, dude, and she goes, phew, over her handlebars, okay? Her bike's still sitting straight up in the air. She gets all pissed off, and we end up start walking home. She leaves her bike there. We get back to the house. My dad's like, what the fuck? you left your bike out there? And she's like, I'm bleeding, thank you. And he's like, you don't leave your bike out there.
Hey, real quick, guys, if you see a car like this that just peels around the corner in the hood,
yeah,
you at least put your head on a swivel.
Yeah, I noticed you started to detect something. We got the whole end of the story, didn't we? Where my dad. Okay, so my dad says, what the fuck, you're gonna leave your bike out there? And she's like, I'm going to get it. She's bleeding everywhere. I'm like, I'll go back and get it. Me and my buddies come back up here to get it. It's gone. It's gone.
Naturally.
We were back in half an hour, 20 minutes. It's about a 10-minute walk from here to my house. We come back up here. We were on our bike, so we were like, yeah, we're gonna get the bike. We came back up here, bike is gone. It's gone. A new girl's 10 speed.
No doubt.
Gone.
Out of here.
This direction. This is where a lot of the knuckleheads would hang out here.
Sure, this is the Badlands.
When my stepbrother got his bike stolen, which I'll show you the spot where that happened, right down the street. When we saw this dude 5 times in a day, well, the spot where we saw him the last day, he was walking across here and we were like, hey, motherfucker! And he started sprinting across the bridge. We didn't know what we were gonna do. We couldn't do anything about it. And he started sprinting across the bridge and we're like, yeah! Like really, we're like, yeah, get out of here, man. This is our town.
You little hooligan.
This is our town. All right, we'll set up the other shit. Let's get this stuff in the background here. You can get me walking through it. That way it's just more natural.
Okay.
Hey guys, welcome. This is
where are we at here, buddy? You just showed me a little park.
This is my neighborhood. This is Alaska and Shermer, Tennessee is my street right down here. I'll take it. The old 7708 Tennessee, place where I grew up. Neighborhood looks about the same, to be honest with you.
That's awesome.
This is the street too, where my stepbrother, we were playing football in this street right here, and we would play one-on-one. We'd get each other one-on-one, we just had to juke each other out. I juked him out by that pole up there. Maybe you can zoom in on it, that no parking sign or whatever that sign is up there.
Okay.
You see it? The one on the left here.
Oh, I'm with you. Okay.
That one, yeah, right there.
Yeah, gotcha.
I juked him, went under it, and he went boom and smoked his head, split his head open, had to get like 25 stitches, was bleeding everywhere. Luckily, we were right next to my house. So this is one of the alleys we play in. We can go down.
Well, I think that's something like people that don't live in St. Louis might not know, but like this is where all the magic happens. We all have alleys that connect our streets, which is not the norm. Like you don't have that in, Springfield. I don't think Kansas City really has it. No. So like
the alleys are awesome.
It's where we put our trash. It's where, that's the whole deal.
Hello.
Hi, how are you? All right.
Good.
Hi, pup. Good looking pitties.
Yeah, we don't want to get too much footage, but this is my old neighborhood. This is my house right here, the one with the trampoline.
This is your house right here with the trampoline?
This is my tramp. This is where I would have my hockey games on that back patio there.
Oh, sure.
I would announce my own hockey game and pick winners and losers, record it on tape, and then re-listen to the tape and be like, dude, Hall scored with 3 minutes left and we won? Holy shit, man.
Hey, I could hit it. How far did you hit a plastic golf ball back here?
Oh, fuck. I broke some plastic golf balls. That's a bad situation. I broke some. But I could hit a fuzz ball with like a wiffle ball bat, a tennis ball about to these fields. If you hit one to this field edge right here, you were blasting one out as kids.
That's a pretty good bomb.
We considered it a bomb. Now it doesn't look as big, but we broke the windows on our house playing. We'd use my house as a backstop.
Sure.
And bomb. Now a wiffle ball, if you can get a wiffle ball out here, you're crushing it.
Yeah.
We used to just consider over the fence a wiffle ball home run.
Totally.
But all the way from back there, if you were hitting a fuzz ball into these guys' yards, because this was a real cool dude. He gave me fucking like Korean money one time, and I was like, fuck yeah, Korean wallet, Korean money. I don't know what I'm gonna do with this, but I love it. This is the field I'll take you over here. I think the south side rapist raped someone right over here too. I remember this big hubbub right in this area.
That's something we've never really covered, but the south side rapist was like our
Dennis
Son
Rabbit.
of Sam.
It was
like
nuts,
it
dude.
was for I remember
was
for a
wild.
very long time.
I was on the news.
That was the news.
I was on the news.
They put you on the news?
No, I was in the background of the news. They were interviewing people about the south side rapist.
And you're dancing like Martin Short?
Yeah. And this is the field. This is where I got lost, and my mom called like the entire FBI and SWAT team and everybody out.
And it's 2 houses down. It's 2.
I know, but that's like a series of apartments with like the old Cardinals players used to live there.
Was it Spanish Trace or no?
No, it's it'll come to me. Santa Fe.
Santa Fe, yeah. Yeah.
So that's where I got lost in a maze of caverns and tunnels in there. And when I got back home, my mom had like 40 cops at the house, dude.
Well,
it was traumatic.
I don't know that you could really be too.
My neighbor who actually lived there, Joe Jones, he's the one who found us. So shout out to Joe Jones.
Shout out, Joey. Thanks. If not for you. we would have missed out on all this.
I used to have a fence here. I don't know. That's like the new open floor plan right there. It's not
Fences
bad.
are overrated.
But yeah, I'll take you around to the front of the house now.
All right, sweet.
You can shut it down if you want. Hey everybody, this is the little three-way dead end that
this is awesome, dude.
I used to call home. This is where like one of the toughest kids. He was like, I'm gonna say it. He's like the toughest Caucasian kid, and then the toughest kid of Latin or African American descent. I don't know what the political
came from the
apartments. That's how it like ran in this little area here. I hate to say it.
No, that's real life.
But that's how it was, and they would. But we all kind of played together until shit went down, and then it was like meet right here, man. It's center between everybody, like, and this was our own little. No, there were 3 dead ends. There was no getting in or out of this area.
This is
Everybody
great,
knew.
man. Like,
so this
especially back here, street hockey.
This is where we played street hockey. Set one goal there, one goal there. People didn't like us really playing here. Here's where Kessler's grandparents lived, right here.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Right here in this house?
This left one. This one on the left. And then we used to catch fireflies in their yard over here.
Yeah.
You could have told me this was as big as 10 football fields as a kid.
Oh, sure.
And I'd have been like, hell yeah, it is, man. That place is huge. Mine's the second to last house here. Shout out to Randy for building that flower box the day my dad was moving out, which was a weird time in my life. You know what I mean? Like, Randy's out building that flower box while my dad's packing his shit up and going.
Hey, that's the work of a good mason right there.
It is. It's still standing.
That's a nice looking wall.
It's still, so that's my home, that second one. This is where I used to have fucking bicycle rides up and down the street. Strike the gold, I was always striking.
Yeah.
Oh, they got a nice Rottweiler in there
They do
now.
have a nice Rottweiler.
But this used to be a fence, and it's still, you can see, it breaks down every so often, so the neighborhood kids can get back and forth, because there was always a ton of kids in this area that I wanted to play with. Like Sir Trell was my best buddy growing up, and he could do backflips. And I was like, dude, you know, Adam Sandler has that skit where he's like, I wish I had a backflip. I wish I knew how to do a backflip. And he'd just bust it out, like things would start getting hairy. He'd be like, poof, backflip. Everybody's like, oh,
Chad Heslinger always knew how to know when the room needed a round off back handspring.
It was, dude. So good. So yeah, this is kind of the
this is home, huh?
This is the neighborhood Steve built, is what they're calling it. And you can see this in the background, like if you see him over my shoulder, the Monsanto factory. That's what I used to go to bed, like listening to that
the steam
every night. Like all the different noises.
We had something similar. We'll see it here in a little bit when we go over to my neighborhood.
All right, I'm going to take you to 2 more spots. I'm going to take you to my grade school, St. Boniface, just see the front of that, and then I'll take you right down the street where my stepbrother, we got robbed at knife point for his bicycle, and it was hilarious. All right, guys, right up here, I was telling you about when my stepbrother got robbed at knife point. We were driving around, or riding our bikes around this hole. You can take a spin, kind of spin around here. This park that you're about to see coming up on your right, this was an abandoned road that went through here, like kind of connecting. It was actually that road back there went all the way down there, and so these were houses right in here.
Okay.
And after the flood of '93, those were all fucking just abandoned. On that road.
So how close did the flood get to your house?
We were underwater.
Was your house underwater?
Right there. We had water in our basement, but we swam in this. See this like hill right here?
Yeah.
Going down over that hill to that sewer down there was all water. Like I remember the shot truck, the hepatitis or tetanus shot people just came around in like an ice cream truck, and all the kids were like, "Dude, get them, went back swimming." It was stupid. So that's what. Yeah, the flood of '93 flooded all this out.
Dude, I remember it like it was yesterday.
Yeah, and then we found a big bloated dead dog after that. We swore it was a bear. We're like, dude, it's a bear. It must have been a Rottweiler that had been bloated. It was the craziest. It looked like a black bear, dude. Okay, so right up here, my stepbrother, we see this guy 10 times. He finally comes up to us, stops us about right here, and he pulls out a knife, and I'm like, and I'm going down this alley, right? I'm going down here. I figure I can get away. There's a street that goes over. I'm like, go, Dan, go. Dan's like, oh, hey, man, what's up? This bike sucks. It's got coaster brakes on it, and like starts like underselling his bike, so this guy won't take it. He's on a 10-speed, obviously older than us. And so I realize I come back through here. You can see down here, this is no place you wanted to be. We got stopped at like a real bad spot here. And like the biggest bully in my school, Eddie Starnes, lived in that white building, that white apartment complex. So we always had trouble up here. So I ended up being able to circle back around and come back around to see if Dan was dead yet. And so I circle back around, and the dude's riding this way. He's got Dan's bike right here, and he's riding away on the other bike, dude. And I'm like, oh shit, man. So we scurry home. There were firemen located down there, and we went to the firemen, and we're like, dude, our bike just got stolen. And he's like, okay. Like,
what do we do? I fight fires, kid.
You should probably stop that guy from doing it. You know what I mean? And we're like, oh, he had a knife for fucking whatever. So we went home like a couple chumps. But then in that first spot I showed you, that's when we saw him one day. We're like, hey, motherfucker. And he's like, oh, shit. And started running. We were like, yeah.
Did you get the bike back?
No. Dan had a dyno VFR. And I told him, I go, when you come here, you take all the stickers off your bike. He's like, I'm not taking my stickers off my bike. I go, take all the stickers off. Otherwise, you're just going to be walking Target around here. So he's like, no, I ain't taking it off. That guy circled us like a shark for a whole day. We were riding around. We saw him 6 times. Finally, remember, he looked like Gavin Rosdale from Bush.
Oh.
I was like, this guy's a good-looking dude. What's he doing? Fucking life of crime. He's probably got it made. You know, you think of those guys, you're like, what a South City outlaw, dude. And then we fucking saw him, he's needled out and shit. And I fucking probably karate kicked that fucking dude right in his face. Just kidding. If you're watching the show now, bud, we forgive you.
Just bring the fucking bike back.
Yeah, bring that VFR back, asshole. All right, we're going to shoot right up the street here, head to St. Boniface, and then you'll know a little bit more about Hoosier Steve. Where I did all the major little Catholic things that I had to do, you know, second communion, or first Holy Communion in 2nd grade, reconciliation. I did not do confirmation.
Oh, you were closed by that point.
Yeah, they were closed. Closed when I was in 6th grade. Became this about 4 or 5 years after. But the inside of this thing is bad
cool.
To the bone.
It doesn't
with all
have
the apostles.
like seating up above.
Yes.
And then you're like kind of.
But that's where our most of the time was our lady who played the organ.
Yeah,
sat up there,
sure.
and we all sat in the front. And it had the 12 apostles painted like the Sistine Chapel on the roof.
Yeah.
And then Jesus in the middle. It was dope, dude.
This is cool. It's a cool style of church for sure.
Yeah, German, very German. So
yeah,
the priests live here. This is where all the kids,
this is the rectory, right?
Yeah, this is where all the kids would come fucking hang out before school.
I think it's still. No, maybe not.
It's a different school. It's like Gateway.
No, it's Cronolette Academy.
Yeah.
This is where our buddy Ryan teaches music.
This is all new. This wasn't here when I went here.
Well, that was the deal. There was a pretty big investment in this neighborhood back when I was talking about buying that bar.
Yeah.
There was one dude that was developing it up. He bought the Coca-Cola factory, which became Perennial, and all those lofts. But dude, there was a lot of money getting pumped in here. A bunch.
Yeah, Stacked is still one of the best.
One of the best burgers you'll ever eat.
So this is it. This is St. Boniface. This is the place where most of the madness happened from kindergarten to 6th grade. Slapped a girl's butt in the back of this place. Had my first kiss in the back of this place. Like, a lot of good memories in this joint. Two of my favorite teachers ever, Miss Denise, my kindergarten teacher, and my Vietnamese sister, 2nd grade teacher, sister, Teresa Marie. 2 of the most influential broads. But I'll bring you right over here. This is where we used to have the fastest man. This is why I really brought you out here. This is where we used to have the fastest man. And Craig, I want you to time me as I run this, because I remember my old time. I'm gonna get my stuff out of here.
Not a good idea.
So we'd run from here. We can also test it. So back in the day,
hang on a minute. Let me get a line here.
We'd run to the last.
We're at Michigan and Steins right now, right?
With Michigan and Steins, there's a drive-by.
Kind of a 3-way point.
Big Bill's Auto Body. I remember there was a drive-by, and like one of the kids in our class actually knew the person who got shot, and we were all like, "Oh, Miss Dramatic." You know what I mean? It was like, "Oh shit, no, that shit happens." All right, so you keep a little timer on there. I'm gonna sprint down, and I'll say done when I'm done, and you stop the timer. Ready?
Okay, say done pretty loud.
I'm gonna go like this. That's why it's visual.
Oh wait, you want to let her get on the bus first?
Nope.
All right, on your mark, get set, go.
Yeah, motherfucker. Yeah. Oh god, I pulled something. Oh, the quadricep. The quadricep is burning. Oh shit. How'd we do? How are we looking? Not shitting. Hold a quad.
I don't know. It was like 18 seconds. We're gonna have to go back to the tape. It was like 18 seconds.
Used to be able to run it in 12.2. This is the other best place in town. Now it's called Susie's Market and Deli.
Yeah, what is it now? Or what did it used to be?
It used to be BK.
Just
BK
a little corner
Drugs.
store? Just a little.
It was called BK Drugs. Oh, that's where I go get my candy every day after school.
We all had that.
Yeah.
We all
get my
had
candy
that.
right there every day. BK Drugs. My sister would go in there and get cigs for my mom.
Yeah, oh yeah. Have a little note.
Yeah. And that's it. This is my town.
It's a great
this is my
little
city.
spot.
Hey boys and girls, I'm talking about native hemp extract. That CBD.
That CBD.
Get inside of me.
Inside of me.
That CBD.
That CBD.
Sweet delicious CBD. That CBD.
That CBD.
Got the CBD native hemp. That CBD.
That CBD.
You can get it from me.
I can.
That CBD.
That CBD.
Inside of me.
Inside of me.
That CBD.
That CBD.
Inside of me.
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 No. Inside of me.
Inside of me.
Inside of me.
Native hemp extract. 1,800 milligrams of total cannabinoid goodness from Pike County, Illinois. Get yours at HoosierSophisticate.com.
And we're back.
Oh.
Hope you guys enjoyed that. It was a little long. I could have clipped a lot about it.
It was it was a great little trip into your childhood. I don't want to clip it at all. We we did like a continuous shot over in my neighborhood. It was
cool to see your little walking area because I did not realize how close all of that shit was. I thought Wayne lived a quarter mile away from.
Dude, when I say that all of my friends lived within really, I mean, a quarter mile.
And the when you were talking about the school picnics, that really brought it back.
During the
because
break.
I remember that party that used to go on next door.
No doubt. That was the Hayflingers.
Yes, and I was like, oh shit.
And just at break, just finding out, like, okay, so the first day I met Mike Ote was my freshman year, first day of school at St. Mary's. And I don't want to, paint anything on Mike, but what I remember is he had. Oh, I don't know. For some reason I feel like he was elevated, but he had a gum wrapper, like a foil gum wrapper, wrapped around his teeth, so he was grilled out. And we were in there, and it was like, we had like hot lunch once a month maybe at our school, but we could go home for lunch, so that was kind of cool too. But like we didn't really ever like get to buy lunch at school, so that was like my first experience. I remember being like in the cafeteria and like, oh dude, they got French fries and hamburgers. This is kind of cool, man. And like Mike was just sitting there fucking cheesing with it, And I knew he was like from the neighborhood because all of us St. Mary's kids kind of were.
Yeah.
But
nobody
like
was making a trip.
But not many people were traveling to go to St. Mary's. There were a handful.
Okay.
There were a handful, but I didn't realize how close in the neighborhood he was. Because I mean, there were guys. St. Mary's was like, it had everybody from St. Ambrose to Epiphany to. I mean, it went all over the city, but for the most part, I didn't realize how close Mike was until a break. He's like, "Oh, dude, I was right on Montana. Like, I was like on this side of Merrimack." He's like, "Yeah." He's like, "Right by J-Rob." Remember that? I'm like, "Holy shit, man!" Like, so even Mike grew up in the neighborhood. And like everything's so much on top of one another. Like as a kid, like a quarter mile is probably the real distance between mine and Mike's house.
doubt.
You know what I mean? Like if you put it on a straight line, it might be a quarter mile.
Yeah.
You know, but I would walk over in that neighborhood all day. So it was kind of cool to take you just on the real simple loop, how close I was to school, and you taking me back over there. I'd never been back in that little neighborhood there, man. That was like, what a cool setup with your triple dead end street. Like that was a dream, because you asked like, well, where'd you guys play? Well, luckily I lived on a one-way street. So we only had to contend with traffic coming one way when we set up our goals or whatever in the street. Cops would come by and give baseball cards. Did they ever do that in your neighborhood?
Awesome. No, they just took a lot of the parents away.
Oh, okay. Fair enough. Okay.
I figured they did something wrong.
They would always come by and like I you know, like they would, you know, the grumpy neighbors would be like, these damn kids are playing in the street, and the cops would be like, hey guys, just make sure you're getting out of the street when the traffic's coming. Here's some baseball cards, and we're like, cool. And they were like fucking crime McGruff the crime dog or
like
something.
Gary Sheffield just.
But they would have like
jersey
they would have like a real ball player on them, but they would be like a fucking dare message or something, you know. But dude, it was really fun.
Daryl Strawberry, don't do coke, man.
Yeah.
It's terrible.
It was really fun
and he's
too.
smiling like a motherfucker.
Pupils are really. It was really fun to go through your neighborhood, man. Just kind of, I'm nostalgic about the city. I was pulled out of the city when I was 14 years old. So like, I have nothing but magical memories attached to my neighborhood, you know, attached to our little section of the city. I mean, driving to Maryland, like I drive from Hillsborough every day now. Like I'm in my car for hours upon hours. But as a kid, like when we would travel out to my aunt's house in Maryland Heights, I'm like, I felt like a 50-minute trip.
Dude.
Like everything else is 4 minutes away.
My dentist was in Clayton, and I was like, fuck, looks like we're going to the moon to go to the dentist.
No doubt.
So at least I
no
get
doubt.
to drive
And my
in.
understanding of the city were all the parks that we played CYC sports at. So, you know, be it Lindenwood, we went by, you know.
South City Dad's taken
the best.
40 different ways to get to one place because this one only has 7 stop signs.
You got to.
This one has 3 stop
that's so
signs. but I'm
funny that
making a
you
left.
say
I'm
that,
making a
because
left. I'm making
I
2
remember
lefts, so you
asking
don't
my
have
dad
stop
that
signs.
about driving to work. He's like, I never like to take the same route. I don't like anybody to catch on to my route, you know? And that's
What
so
is
funny that
that
you
South
say
City
that.
Dads?
But
What
you
is
got,
wrong
but
with
you know
guys?
what? Like, listen to every cop car in the city of St. Louis, and
it
every one of
breaks
those brakes are
We
fucking
howling.
just howling because there's a stop sign every 50 yards, you know? But there's also a bar every 50 yards.
I forgot to get this here now. You ready for this?
Yeah, man.
Are you guys ready for this? Because this is a good one.
We like movies, so do you. We like internet, so do we. Streaming picks of the week in Netflix. The streaming picks of the week. Amazon Prime. It's the streaming picks of the week. We like the internet too.
What are you watching this week, Steve-O?
Oh, buddy, Jenny and I were bawling our eyes out, dude. You know me, I'll cry a little bit at everything. This one had me. Remember in Gladiator, the movie Gladiator, where you've seen Gladiator?
Come home with your shielder on it?
No, that's 300, isn't it? Yeah.
Yes, it is.
In
I'm sorry.
Gladiator, he grabs the dirt.
Yeah.
And he's a farmer, but his job then was to be a warrior. So that's what he did before battle. When he was dying, he grabs that piece of earth and says, you know, like he just knows he's going home. And even at the end of the movie, when his buddy has those little figurines of him and buries all those figurines that he used to carry with him of his wife and kids.
Sure.
And he goes, I'll see you again, Spaniard, but not yet. Not yet. You know, I mean, like he had done. I watched this because I'm like, I love wilderness shows. I love Alaska, the Frontier.
Oh,
and
this is
all
one I
those
was asking
shows.
you about.
Yes, it's called Win the Wilderness on Netflix.
This is your pick?
Yes, and so it's a 80-something-year-old guy, and I think his wife's a little bit younger than him. But they're giving away their property. They have a 3-story log cabin on OC Mountain, which their last name's OC. This guy walked into the wilderness 30-something years ago in the Canadian wilderness outside of Fairbanks, like 250 miles outside of Fairbanks. And in Alaska, there's like a homesteading rule that if you find land and prove you can live on it and build a shelter, like you get the land or something like around there. Like it's just, they're like, you know, like they pay people to live in Alaska. So he's walking through the woods. He doesn't know where he's going to stop. He doesn't know, and this is a show, I'm just thinking it's going to be a corny show to win these people's legacy. I'm kind of like torn
Feel
by
kind of gross about it.
Yes. And so, because he goes into the woods and he hears the wind whistling through the trees when he gets to this little kind of open mountain spot, and he hears this woman's voice go, choose me. And so he goes, this is the spot. So he builds this little shelter where he meets this gal. She's like, I'm in, 100% in. And she's Diane Doggendorf. She's a gal that you can hang out with all day, every day. She's got something for you.
Salty and funny.
Totally.
Yeah.
The type of frontier woman you need to have a fucking sense of humor about you.
Yeah.
Their relationship is the cutest. So they take couples from Britain from, anywhere from 25 years old to 50 years old and see if they can...
And this is in Alaska?
This is in Alaska. And the only way you can get into this place is this guy cleared on a different little mountain slope next to him. There is he cleared 500 trees for a landing strip. That's the only way in and out of that mother, unless you want to walk through the woods. So this place is secluded.
Remote.
But I mean, it's as tight of a log cabin as you've ever seen in your life. But the woodworking of his cabinets and railings, as a deck builder, you can appreciate spindles made from fucking
deck
wood.
builder.
Yeah, you know what's up. So you think it's going to be this reality show of just like, here's your competition, build a fire and build a shelter and see how. Well, all these are all this old couple wants to do is they have like a guy there watching them, and they're like, who are the best people who are going to live this legacy, who are going to keep this legacy going because they didn't have kids. So you realize, this isn't about building a fire and I'm the first one to do that. They're trying to find the souls of two wildfire humans who are ready to live that life, because
I'm gonna watch this.
These people are like, yeah, I want to do the game show. And you can tell when they're like the last three left, they're like, you ready to live on OC Mountain for the rest? Like, now it's, do we want this?
Yeah.
And dude, there's a scene at the end where it alludes to the gladiator thing. I don't want to give it away fully.
Okay.
But you realize these older people are coming to grips with the end of their life.
Mm-hmm.
He says at the beginning, he goes, I know once I leave this mountain, I'll die. Like, it's just my heart's here. But they can't keep it up anymore. They just can't do it. It's too remote.
Yeah, it's kind of the idea of like, do you want your life story to be a book, or do you want it to be a volume? And in this case, they're looking for someone to add the second volume to this land.
Yes.
To this whole idea.
Because that's the idea. It's the land and his connection, because he had the land before he had his woman. Like the land he had worked. He goes, my blood, sweat, and tears are literally in the earth out here.
Yeah.
Like, and him, this couple saying goodbye to their land, and the way the wife is like, get over it, buddy. You know what I mean? You can tell she's destroyed.
That's how they.
But she's always been there for him. She's always been there.
You gotta make it a joke. You gotta accept the joke that is the cosmic giggle.
That's exactly it. And they ask him, they go, if you had it to do all over, all this hard work, everything you did, would you do it all over again? And he goes, I think I would. And he meant it with, like, how many people on their deathbed be like, would you change anything? And they're like, yeah, I would change this, and this, which didn't work this much. But
no doubt.
This guy was like, you could see the memories in his eyes glowing, and him go, yeah, I think I would, man. So Win the Wilderness.
I'll watch that for sure.
Beautiful.
And it sounds like it ties in really nice to that podcast recommendation you made last week with Aubrey Marcus that I had started. I finished it on my way home that night. And then you called me, I think the following morning, and you're like, man, I've sprung for the book. I had to listen to and he's an easy guy to listen to. The South African accent is such a charming one, but it's this connection that his grandfather ultimately ended up having, his father with the woods, with this mysterious man that came out of the woods, and the way that he speaks of these trackers, and the way that, he talks about how they'll pick up a track that might be a day ahead,
One of the biggest moments of my life came from that, realizing something about myself. He says, the people who come out there and are the best animal trackers are the people who have had tumultuous childhoods, who had to, and I remember this so vividly without knowing I had to do it, the drop of the keys on the table, the way the door opened up, the way my mom was walking upstairs. Like, I still get nervous when I hear someone walking upstairs when I'm working down here, because I'm like, oh, they're pissed, because my parents fought a lot.
Yeah.
So I had to read the fucking room.
You had to read the footsteps.
I had to track every, unbeknownst to me.
Sure.
And hearing this guy said it, I was like, oh my God, I've been a tracker my whole life. And to build off of that, don't be like, oh, don't notice that stuff anymore. Just kind of,
Yeah.
you know, like numb yourself to that. You don't have to do that anymore. No. I can feel people now.
Yeah.
I can feel the room tension. I can help hold space. We've had to hold space, legitimately hold this area that people can't see, hold that energy for people.
Yeah.
And coming back to our tribe, when you got 6 or 7 of those people in a room, holding that space for you, it's a shift like no other, dude.
It's amazing what our childhood does imprint on us, because you were talking, like, you're right. You can track a room. You can track how people are following along to a song or a joke, and when it's time to hit an anti-joke punchline, or when it's time to stop everything, control the cadence. You talk about how, like, I was comfortable in Michigan and, like, sitting and talking with these people, and I'm the same way in boardrooms. My mom was a bartender as a kid growing up, and so, you know, I was with her during the day, but when Dad came home from work, like, if we wanted to hang with Mom, we would go to the bar, and so I would get a fucking roll of quarters or whatever, play pinball, shoot pool, but ultimately what I was doing was I was watching adults interact with one another and shoot the shit and jive and fucking just, you know.
Great.
And it's one of those things that has absolutely formed me, where I can't put, you know, sometimes I can't put a woo-woo explanation on something. I can't speak to the magic of something or the psychicness of something. But my bullshit detector, my poker playing skills, my pool playing skills, like, you just learn to communicate with, and watching adults do that as a kid, oh, this is just the norm, and finding out a way to hustle money out of them, and, you know, like,
charming. You have to be charming.
You have to learn how to be charming, and as a kid, it's pretty much effortless, because you're the kid in the room, you know, so they're kind of watching how they are around you, you know, and like. But at the same time, you're still going to overhear something when you're banging on the pinball machine.
And if you can hit
you learn
you've
the
told
cadence.
me some stories about you hitting the older folks with a joke.
That's
And-
the deal.
Oh, buddy.
That's the
that
deal. At
was
Wilderness
the
Ridge, the
shit.
first time, I remember, like, they were passing around this watermelon that was spiked, obviously, right? And they were all throwing cards around and everything. My dad's telling the story, and I was like, oh, Dad, no one wants to hear your crazy drug stories from the 60s, you know? And everybody starts blowing up laughing. I don't even know what they're talking about. Like, I'm just into the Beatles and know that people did drugs in the 60s.
You're kind of piecing a little bit.
I'm putting it together. My dad's like, the 60s? Fuck, I was a kid in the 60s. He's like, and then under his breath, he's like, with them 70s.
That got weird.
And the place is going crazy, you know, and like you learn.
And he's proud.
And you learn
You
how
got
to fucking-
his
yes.
kid got a laugh from all his buddies. Ooh,
Yeah,
dude.
at his expense, and it, like, you know,
totally.
like,
Give me some shit.
those are the defining moments that maybe you overlook. Like, you can look at these crowning achievements in athletics or in academics or whatever, but it's these moments where you learned how to be a voice that everyone could hear in the room. And there was nothing really holding you back other than just, you know, learning the timing, learning where the joke fit in, you know.
And a barkeep has to have a superpower of being able to listen, react, and make everybody fucking feel good and important.
No doubt.
Like, that's a fucking beautiful.
No doubt.
That's a weird thing to put together.
No
Like,
doubt.
look at us figuring some shit out about ourselves.
Oh, and your pick, you should have went last. Mike, what'd you watch?
I'm watching Monk.
Oh,
I've
nice.
really been into it, and I'm just getting onto this OCD thing. Like,
Yeah.
You know, a detective. Have you guys seen it?
Back in the day when it was on,
1996.
no, it wasn't that long ago. It wasn't that, but no, dude, people were crazy about that show. I watched some episodes. Yeah.
I could rewatch it.
Oh yeah.
There's.
I've never seen it, but
He was actually a great character. He's an
What's his
OCD
name?
detective.
What's his
I
name?
can't think of his name.
Adrian or
Adrian. No, he's he was in Men in Black.
Yes.
And he also had a side role in another show, big show. He wasn't on Ellen or one of those, but he had Adrian Zemed.
Ooh, that's close. It's Tony Shalhoub.
Tony Shalhoub. Tony Shalhoub.
Well, that's funny, Mike, that you say that because
It kind of takes me back to the Joe Hamilton.
Well, and mine's right there with it.
days.
It's been running for about the same amount of time, and I'm new to it. All right, I've had people talk to me about it, and I can't believe how much time I've spent inside of this little world. But Grey's Anatomy has it's been running on loop, not on loop because listen, it's just running throughout in the background throughout the whole deal.
Good.
Buddy, I cannot believe
They have a good formula.
how much I enjoy it, right?
Yeah.
So like some shows like that, you're like, okay, I've seen it
Think
though.
Grey's
Like
sexy?
you've told it.
Is that her name?
Ellen,
Is that the
yeah,
name?
Meredith Grey. Ellen Pompeo.
Yeah,
she
sure.
is like interestingly
Yeah.
attractive.
She was in Wedding. Or no,
But
Step-
like, I don't think that she's like classically
Wedding
good
Crashers.
looking.
No, she was in one of those ones with Will Ferrell and Vince Vaughn and Old School.
Oh, she was.
Yeah, she's a chick from Old School.
Oh, I didn't even realize that. Yeah, I don't think that like she's particularly.
Yeah,
There's just something about her. Like, you know, she's whatever. So, but more than anything, I can't like. I'm watching it and I'm like, there are some literal life or death moments, but also like there are these ethical things that are
Yes.
happening
I love
throughout,
that.
and they make me think like, oh, what's the right play here?
Did you get to the one where like the bus thing is impaled between two people and they have to like pick one?
I don't know
Something like
about that.
that.
I don't think so. But here's the thing. We've been watching it pretty much nonstop.
What season are you on?
This is what I'm getting at. We've been watching it pretty much nonstop. It's just running. And so like it's funny because I'll get home and Miss will be like, oh hey, yeah, by the way, this one's with this one now, and this happened, and I'm like, oh okay, and this is only taking place in like 3 episodes time, and then vice versa. Like I'll bang out a couple while she's sleeping, and I'm like, okay, well let me bring you up to date. Everything's like a pivotal moment.
Season 7, episode 18 yet?
I'm real close. We're like
That's
season.
gonna ruin it for you.
We're actually in season 7. We're like episode 14, maybe something like that. So she may have already blown through it. I don't know.
No, you're in luck if you have.
But anyway, I was like, oh, certainly. We've watched. There's like 24 episodes a season, and we're like 7 seasons into it. So I'm like, oh, we're probably towards the end of this. We are not even halfway through. There's like 15 seasons, which is okay because it's not a show that I'm like looking forward to like the end product of. It's a show that each standalone episode I'm like, oh man, neurosurgery.
This is gonna ruin it for you.
Okay, all right,
It's
stop,
gonna
stop,
ruin it for you.
stop, because I don't want to get it shut down.
Okay, okay,
Shut that down. But I just saw a ped surgeon.
Sing
Peds
a
is a
song.
pediatric surgeon for you guys not in the know.
not
If you don't know, she was just singing a song. You've been telling me about it. You told me about a musical episode a long time ago, and I'm like, no, you can tell me about it.
ruined me
I
on
don't
the
really
show.
care because I'm not really watching it.
Ruined me on the
But they had
show.
like an active shooter one, which was really fucking pretty crazy. Like an active shooter in the hospital.
Get it. You
Grey's
don't
Anatomy.
have to go through every Grey's Anatomy episode.
I'm sorry.
There's-
McDreamy
there's
is
40
gorgeous. Have you
seasons.
dude?
He was a nerd in all the movies I watched as a kid. That's why it was funny.
I don't remember him from anything.
Oh, you don't like?
Uh-uh.
There's that one movie where he's a dork and he's trying to bang the porn star who has like the biker husband, and he has to
Okay,
go.
that was Justin Long, or no, that was the kid from Into the Wild.
No, it was not.
Girl Next
What's
Door.
McDreamy's name? No, this movie was a long time ago. McDreamy. We'll look this up right now.
We'll do it. We'll do this live. Fuck
I
it.
don't
We'll do it
care.
live, just like Bill O'Reilly said.
What's his real name?
Hey, you know who you
Derek
didn't get in
Shepherd.
there? You know who you didn't get into the video on? You didn't get our guy from KC Weed Blog.
Okay,
Can we-
I'm
can-
gonna play that right now.
Can you pull that up? Is
Yes,
that something
I
we
am.
can do?
Thank you.
Hey, actually, Mike can pull it up. Mike can pull it up on the screen here.
Let me find where it's at. How did that get sent to me? How did that get sent to
Gmail?
me? I don't see it in my.
Patrick Dempsey?
Patrick Dempsey's the guy's
thank
name.
You.
Good job, Mike. Or is that
Dennis Nenninger.
Dennis Nenninger? You know, going back to his favorite
Here we
moment.
go. I'm gonna step over here. Keep going, Craig.
Going back to Dennis Nenninger's favorite moment of me almost shitting.
Can't buy me love. Thank you.
That's the name of the show.
All right, what were we
Can't Buy Me Love. Well, listen. So Dennis talked about his favorite moment of me almost shitting my pants. I was actually trying to prepare for a medicine ceremony, so I was really trying to cleanse out, and I got a little ignorant because I'd taken this cleanse, but then on top of that, I drank some very concentrated dandelion tea. It's like a smooth. No, it was a smooth move tea blend, and so I had like a Yeti cup that was like, I don't know, a 30-ounce Yeti cup, and I had, 4 tea bags of this Smooth Move tea blend in the cup. And so I had drank it, and I had to make a run to go pick up some, promotional products for a customer, go and deliver them. And I get stuck at 345 on 270 and 44, or 44 trying to get on a 270, gridlocked.
Should work.
You get some audio on it?
We're just gonna play it over there. It should play audio loud enough so we can hear it on the speakers. So go ahead and hit play. This is from our guy, James Thomas at follow Casey Weed Blog. They're fucking awesome, and they're only getting better. Go ahead, play it. Turn it up.
Hey, what's up? Hoosier Sophisticate. This is James from KC Weed Blog.
Close that.
Congrats on 2 years of your show. I enjoyed it. Always listen. Always enjoy everything I see. Keep on rocking, guys. This is your Psychedelic. Shout out.
Oh, I love him so much.
That is the best, dude. That is the best. Look at that, dude. Just play it again. Play it again just so they can see the total visual.
Hey, what's up? Hoosier Sophisticate.
Look at this guy.
This is James from KC Weed Blog. Congrats on 2 years of your show. I enjoyed it. Always listen. Always enjoy everything I see. Keep on rocking, guys. This is your Psychedelic.
Oh, third eye. Oh, it's so great, man. James
we'll
is
put that
awesome.
up on the page, too.
No
I'll
doubt.
put it in a video,
No
but
doubt.
It is unreal. Can't Buy Me Love. Thank you for everyone on the page.
That was the name of
Thank
the
you.
movie? That was the name of
Yes.
the movie with Patrick Dempsey?
Yeah.
Yeah,
You're
it's
good.
fine. So anyway, Grey's Anatomy, man.
Okay, that's good. My
Whatever,
second
it's not
pick is
great.
I've been watching a lot of Top Shot. Like I wish I was watching Top Shot right now.
Well, I don't know
So
if
got
I
a
went
gun.
down the...
I'm a gun owner now. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you, America.
Yeah, okay.
So I have a gun, and don't fuck with me. You know what I mean?
You
But
are
Top
being
Shot,
recorded.
like just being people with guns shooting, it makes me weirdly emotional when people are shooting guns so good, and they're just like good people on this show.
Yeah.
It's not like reality stars. They're like, yeah, I'm a fucking guy who shoots guns, and they put me on TV now. Like, and then the relationships they form, a lot of them are veterans. No, I'm good right now.
I'll take it.
But, well, I just didn't want to,
Yeah, whatever. Keep talking.
Okay, good. But Top Shot is one of the best. I guess I'll do it, too. I was just trying to be like, joints for one thing.
Top Shot's awesome. I led with Grey's, but I really have been diving down the rabbit hole of Miyazaki animes. Because the stories are amazing. The actual storyline are fucking so
pig one weirded
magical
me out.
and psychedelic and fucking crazy. That's crazy because the idea of it is it's a bathhouse.
I know.
For demons and
I know, it's crazy.
spirits, and it's really awesome. It's really cool.
It's like the Duncan Trussell
I
thing.
watched
I'm
My
gonna get
Neighbor
on that,
Totoro. Duncan Trussell. If you guys haven't checked out the Midnight Gospel, I posted a link to the other day on the page that just if the cartoon footage isn't for you on Midnight Gospel, you can just listen to the actual podcast that they use for the audio, because that's what it is. It's like snippets of some of the best psychedelic conversations that he's had on his show, and then they just animated it with a bunch of craziness.
You guys got any more maybe things from the past that you want everybody to look out for in the like Grey's Anatomy, Monk, like Cheers, like what other big blasts from the past you guys have? I love this dude so much. What are you, friends?
I'm not kidding when I say it's when I wasn't building I was building my deck most of the time, but otherwise it was wall to wall. Hey, by the way, I just miss the feeling of I just got to do it more. There's nothing really holding me back besides maybe money. But just the feeling of starting a project and like running that last screw into it. You know what I mean? And then you're just like, you sit back and you're like,
hey, can we get a little Bobby Battlehawk for a second? Let's just get a little bit. Maybe
well, you want to talk about me, dude?
Yeah, dude, I do.
Man, here's the thing, man. The damn COVID done took it away from me. All right? I'd found something that I loved, man. And the problem is, dude, I was trying to. I'm not gonna lie. Maybe my relationship with Tamu, maybe it was getting a little bit, intimate. I don't know, but it wasn't a damn week. They haven't even canceled the XFL season yet, And next thing you know, Tamu, he's got a contract with the Kansas City Chiefs. Man,
Hey, man, he's on
jumping
to bigger
ship.
and better things. He's okay.
All right,
He's okay.
whatever.
We're gonna bring Bobby back for real.
Bobby's got to come back. He's got some things he wants to talk about.
That was one of my favorite
man.
parts of the year, dude. That was really one
we
of
had
my
some good
favorite
old
parts.
time. I'm just, damn, dude. They took away my dreams. Vince was supposed to have some tickets for me, and we went down there. There was no way that was going to be the last chance that we were going to be able to go see a Battlehawk football game. And I'll be goddamned if it wasn't the last Battlehawk football game.
That makes it worse.
Man, you want to talk? I mean, I broke some tears down there.
Guys, thank you.
We love you.
We love you guys.
2 years
for
into
real.
this thing, we're just getting started. I titled it 2 years into infinity because I see this. I keep having these connections keep being made where I meet people in passing, and then all of a sudden it's almost like a planet pulling in moons, right? Like you start to develop this awesome community where you remember this person. My buddy Ryan says, "I'm here to remember," and we got a little treat for you coming. We just got to shoot a video for it. The audio's done.
Of all time,
and he helped me, and he made a little remix of it. I kind of tried to mash them up.
It's the best.
But
Fuck you guys.
being here to remember, the idea of that is like when you meet these people, when we meet you, and you guys come out to these events, and it's like, it's kismet, and there's this spark. We've already kind of found each other, and then it's like, oh, I've known you forever. You're a piece, a cog of eternity that I get to keep. I hope to keep seeing in all of these different incarnations, and I feel like every time, like when you meet that person, you're like, oh fuck, I've known you a lifetime, man. I've known you 10 lifetimes. And it's one of those things that then you have somebody who you had that similar experience, and you bring them to Cotillion, or and then that person meets me, or that's how. And all of a sudden I'm like, oh fuck, I remember you. This is our first time meeting, but it's I'm home. I'm home with you. That's what this is.
Oh,
and like being open to that, being open to receive that kind of love has showered us with an unbelievable gift with this group, with knowledge being bestowed upon us, with smarter, more intelligent people coming into our circle and just enriching the lives of one another. And there are people who are like, yeah, there's a lot of dick jokes and titty gifs on the page. And there is.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah, it is. But there's also, man, there's people that are genuinely concerned about the well-being of others. We had somebody that was compelled to go to the doctor the other day, which might have saved his life. There are people that have come there with mental anxiety issues, depression issues, come to the page, and the page is like, hey man, what's on your mind? Let's work it out a little bit. It's a place for love, and even when it gets a little sideways, we figure it out like a family. We figure it out like a family. I'm humbled by it. And I'm inspired by it, and because of it, it put us into circles that were a part of my 5-year plan. I didn't know how we were going to get court with Maps, or with Shane Moss, or with next Duncan Trussell, or these people are 1 degree of separation from us. These things we have manifested, and we've done it as a group. The group has supported our sponsors long enough to keep this kind of going, to allow us to go on trips, to get equipment to make this better. All of the symbiosis that happens, this thing that happens between all of us, where it gets to be this collective reflection of what we're trying to see in the world. I think it's fucking great.
Buddy, when we decided to push that little pebble of ice, that little ball, and we kind of saw down the hill and there's snow everywhere, that down there is Cotillion. This little idea of something like a little tribe that we could build of people who will support each other, and that familiarity helps them accept the other person. Not only do I remember you, I fucking know. I remember how good you are, even when you're shitty.
Yeah.
I remember how good you are.
That's what we should all be looking for.
So we push this little pebble down the hill. It starts picking up steam. It's a snowball. It's a giant. We see it at Cotillion, and we're like, fucking did it. And then we're like,
we can't stop it.
Still
we
going.
Can't stop it.
And
It's still rolling.
Like, let me get in on that motherfucker. And we're like, yeah, okay, yeah. And the way you guys have grown this organically and added the right people to it and kind of kept it your little baby. You know, this is everybody's little group. This is everybody's, like, seeing Cynthia and Rachel go to everybody's business and spread some cheer. That's what this thing was fucking built for, man. So thanks to all you. Here's to so many more years. Mike, thank you so much, dude, for all you do for, you know.
No doubt.
People don't even thank you. People are like, Steve, Craig. That's my best. And Mike's just over there doing all the work, and no one mentions him. And that's the
And
way
Seth,
we're going to keep
this
it.
is, we talked about how this was Seth's day.
This is Seth's
This
day.
is Seth's day.
Really. He's coming back. We're gonna get him back
He
in
brought
some
us to the
form.
gramophone. We were trying to figure it
memes or
out.
something.
South Side liberal. We were fucking just throwing fucking shit against the wall. Hadn't really come up with anything, but we knew we were gonna do something. And you and I got in the car and we're pulling down to the Grove, and it just fucking made sense. Just right there, I was like, Hoosier Sophisticate? How's that sound? We're little Hoosiers, we're a little sophisticated, man. We're Hoosiers that want to have a deeper talk, you know? And people get to ask us that all the time. Dude, I love getting to know you today. I love fucking getting to go down to the neighborhood.
It was really fun.
I'm excited for the events to come. All of this shit will pass. We've gotten through it together. We're going to be stronger on the other side of it. And it's going to be fucking great. And I just can't wait, man.
It's going to be great. I can't wait. All right, guys. Hit them with the end logos, Mike. We love you guys so much. Sorry we ran a little long tonight. Hey, take care of the people who take care of others, you know?
That's where our buddy Jason says. Hey, real quick.
Mycelial Media.
Go subscribe to Mycelial Media on YouTube. You're going to win a Kind Pen. You're going to win a bottle of native hemp CBD. And you're going to win a Chillum somewhere floating around here. All you got to do is subscribe. If you're already a subscriber, you're already in. We love you guys. Be well.